Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. I'm Gimli, and tonight my guests are, first up, ABW's resident button monkey and funtime fatty, it's Danny the GFP. Hello!
You're very rude, you know that, didn't you? I'm going to tell my mum.
I'm rude every week.
In fact, I told my mum earlier, I said, we've got Andrew coming on. She went, who's he? I said, well, he's the bloke who invented the Arsenal podcast. And he's in Dublin.
She doesn't know who he is.
She said she lived in Dublin when she was 20. So that would have been 1964. She lived there for a year near Lansdowne Road. She doesn't remember a thing about it. She's no doubt pissed the entire time.
See, what you've just done there is you've told everybody who's coming up before we've actually introduced him.
No.
Yes, you have.
No.
You've tit.
You
right,
two
then.
tits.
Very nice. Next up, the nicest man on Arsenal Twitter, it's Goonerholic David. Hello, David.
You must be confusing me with somebody else, Gim. But thank you very much. Very kind of you.
All the nastiness that I would normally dish out has gone fully Danny's way. Well, it could have gone some of Gav's way, but it's more of a joke, really, with Gav.
It's Gav on the show as well.
He's giving it away, hasn't he? The fucker. Who's got a twat would do that?
He's having a mare.
Broken my own rule. But still, David, that's like the third time in 4 weeks you've been on.
Yeah, you're going to have to give me a month off. Everybody's getting sick of me now, mate.
Oh, no, we can't do that. We love having you on. Right, we'll move on to our next guest. The politest man on Arsenal Twitter. It's Gav from She Wore a Yellow Ribbon. Hello, Gav.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yes. Didn't take long, did it? Didn't take long.
But I'll get it in straight away. I mean...
I think it's about less than 2 or 3 minutes by my counting. Shocking.
Good going.
We hope to hear many more. Right, and finally, making his long overdue return to the airwaves, it's Andrew from Arseblog. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, that voice. Do you know what? We have Sexual Chocolate with FK. I'm sure you know him. F Carnage from Twitter. But you are podcasting Mecca.
Well, I should probably do it for a living or something.
Oh, do you know what? You should give it a go.
Yeah,
I think it'd be popular.
Thanks for the encouragement. You've made my mind up.
I think maybe after this one, take what you've learned here and try start your own.
This is it. It's like being at a podcast university. Thanks, guys.
I'm so surprised you've not told me to fuck off yet, to be honest.
Oh, sorry. Fuck off.
Lovely. Right then, we'll start the show by going straight over to Danny, who has all of the scores across the board and a loan watch. Probably.
We've decided to put the under-18s, the under-23s and the ladies and the injuries bit in the extras at the end, so you have to go and find it there.
Thank you, Danny. We'll continue tonight's show by picking apart our 2-0 loss against the Scum away. Gav, you got, I'm sure, plenty of words to give us on this one. Try and keep them less sweary.
Do I have to? Basically, that's how the players' attitude was. Do you know what I mean? And the manager's attitude, and we could dissect, the formation and the players that were picked and everything, but it was just dire. I mean, half time I thought I was kind of happy at half time that it was 0-0. I mean, all right, they missed 2 sitters, but at half time I think to myself, if that's the worst we're going to play, then we got a chance of getting something out of this. And then it was almost as if at half time Wenger gave them all sleeping tablets, some nice warm milk, and played them well music, and they just come out half asleep. And 2 goals in a couple of minutes. The penalty. Yeah, he did just touch him. Yeah, he did make a meal of it. It's just one of those. That's now apparently a penalty these days in football, which is bollocks. But it just kind of was what it was. It's got to the point now where you don't even get disappointed when we lose, because it's just all too predictable what's actually going to bloody happen. You've only literally got to watch us for 5 minutes and you know what the end score's going to be. You know what the end result's going to be. And it was just yet another pony away performance. And the only bright side of it is really we should have got stuffed by about 6 or 7-0. So the only bright side of that whole game really is, we weren't completely embarrassed, only slightly embarrassed.
And Andrew, we'll come to you next. As a fan, you would have thought if there was one game of the season that they could motivate themselves for, it would be this one. Why does it seem that we've not turned up in so many big games this season?
Don't know. It's really strange. I mean, the first North London derby of the season was a really weird game as well, where you were looking for this Arsenal team to put in a performance at home against Tottenham, against the Tottenham side that even at that point in the season were looking good, and you wanted us to show up and maybe just put a hole in them, put a hole in their confidence. Maybe it would just shift the trajectory of their season a little bit as well, put some doubts in their mind. And on the day we were pretty insipid, and that was the case again. I think Gav is absolutely right. It could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for Petr Cech. It would have been an awful lot worse in terms of the scoreline. We never really looked like threatening. And I think the worst thing for me, wasn't so much the defeat, because I think, again, what Gab said was it was like an air of resignation to it. It was like, fuck, of course, because we're in this terrible form at this moment in time. I know he came into the game off 3 wins, but in the last few months, you look at our form and you can't feel confident, and you look at the way they're playing. And it was just like, it was more weary resignation than anger. I think people have used up pretty much all their anger at this point. But I think what was the thing that got to me most was in the final 15 minutes where they just let us have the ball. They knew that we weren't going to do anything with it. They were happy to defend. They knew they could defend against whatever it was that we had to offer them. They just let us have the ball in their half, and they held us at arm's length. And I think that, as much as the performance, the shots on goal, the saves that Petr Cech had to make, that really showed the gulf between the two teams on the day.
And David, normally in battles like this, you see the central midfielders step up. Now, our central midfielder, Granit Xhaka, he lost his midfield battle to a man that cost a third of what he did. Do you think, first of all, Xhaka's got what it takes to get a starting spot in this team? Do you think he's good enough? And second of all, do you think he kind of emulates our season, brought in, there was a lot of promise, plenty of hope, and it's kind of all turned to shit, really?
Oh, and I was going to try and be so positive this week, try and give everyone a lift. In answer to your first question, yes, I think he's worth a place in the side at the moment, which is kind of a condemnation of the alternatives that are available. But secondly, although he's not performed consistently well, he has shown he has got an enormous amount of ability. I'm kind of hoping that his introduction is going to follow. If you remember when Dennis Bergkamp first came, it took him a while to acclimatise to England, to English football. Let's hope that this fellow next season will get the benefit of having settled in this season. I think there's something there. Whether we actually get that out of him, I don't know, but I like him as a player. I've got to say, he's got a good range of passing. His tackling leaves a little bit to be desired, but other than that, no, I think he's got it.
And Danny, Mesut Ozil was another player that came under fire from the fans. There is talk of us offering him a new bumper deal, but there's plenty that actually just want him to leave now. Where are you on him?
He is one of the most skillful players ever to pull on an Arsenal shirt in Premier League history. He has got everything that you want from a player. His stats this season is like 11 goals and 11 or 12 assists, or give around something like that. And he is an absolutely magnificent player. But he can only do that. It's like having a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper can only be a goalkeeper. Mesut can only play in that 10 hole, working to try and set people up and score goals. He doesn't track back. He doesn't defend. He can't do any of that other stuff. And if you don't give him the ball, then he can't do his thing by supplying the other people on the pitch. And that's what's been happening lately. I think people target him out. You get him a little bit grumpy, and then he won't be able to do the job that he's there to do. And it's infuriating. I mean, it doesn't help with the formation that we're playing. A sign of a struggling manager is someone who constantly tinkers with this, tinkers with that. It used to be Wenger would play people out of position. Now he's changed the formation to something that we haven't seen, like Andrew was saying on his podcast. He as soon as he came to Arsenal back in 97, was it November 96, 97?
96.
96. As soon as he came there, the first thing he did was break up that back three of, I think it was Bold, Keown, and Adams. And he changed the formation. He hasn't gone back to it since, which is what he's gone back to it now. And so he's like rearranging the chairs on the Titanic, isn't he? On the poop deck, whatever they call it. And it's just worrying because why on earth you're playing Monreal at left centre back? Well, he is an emergency centre back at best. Why is Gibbs? Another thing that Andrew said in his pod, that Gibbs hasn't played back-to-back Premier League games for 2 years. So why is he suddenly getting a position there? I do quite like the fact that he's trying things out, he's moving things around, but they're not working. Why is Holding, who had a magnificent game, if you can trust him, another thing that Andrew said, if you can trust him to play in an FA Cup semi-final against one of the best teams in England, then why do you then drop him against Spurs when he should have been playing there? Gabriel, it's been said that they lip-read what Wenger said about Gabriel. Now, how true this is, I don't know. But, he does this every time, I think, is what the thing went. And there's two things I expect from a season. Much like, when I'm looking at my Russian websites looking for myself for a bride, the first two things I go for must be a bit ginger and a bit booby. For the Premier League season, the two things we must have, we must beat them at home and mustn't lose to them away. And we haven't done that. We haven't beaten them home or away in the Premier League now for 3 seasons. And it's going from us beating them every time to them occasionally getting a draw to now we're lucky if we get a draw, but they usually beat us. And that's the way things have gone. And it's a fucking shit show. And I'm so fucking angry. My mate Lee went to the game. He's a dirty spud. And he come home straight here after the game, came in, waved his Tottenham flag all over me. I just sat there and went, I don't care. And I don't care. And he just looked at me, took a photo and went, sums it up really.
I can tell you that we haven't won a single league game against Tottenham in 6 attempts.
Yeah, the last time we beat them was in the League Cup a couple of seasons in 2015-16. And then the time before that we beat them in the league would have been
the Rosicki, was it?
16th of March 2014, 1-0. Yeah, probably.
Thomas Rosicki in the first couple of minutes, he scored a rocket of a goal at White Hart Lane. And wow, I didn't realise it was that long. That's a bad record, isn't it?
It certainly is. I want to go through a few different things with this. Danny, you mentioned there about him trying different things. Now, Gav, I'll come to you next and say, is there a time and a place to try new things? Maybe a North London derby away to them isn't the time and the place to be trying things like that. Yes or no? Do you agree?
I'm past caring what he tries or doesn't try, to be fair. It's all very, very desperate what he's doing. And I mean, like I say, my thoughts and things haven't changed. He needs to go. And the more he tinkers about things and the more he messes about things, the more he's looking incompetent, the more he's looking stupid, and the more he's mugging the fans off at the moment. So, I mean, if he hadn't tried something, I don't think it would have mattered. Do you know what I mean? I just think really the players are just not playing for him at the moment. They're not giving everything for the shirt, which comes to the manager, and then he's continually picking players that aren't giving everything, and it is just a complete mess, really. If he changes things or he don't change things, he's going to make a fucking mess of it as it stands.
And Andrew, Tottenham are going to finish above us for the first time in 22 years. History aside, do you think that there's a power shift in North London?
I don't think there's any doubt that they're a better side than we are at this moment in time. I'm not necessarily sure man for man they're a better team or have a better squad than we do, which I think is where a lot of the frustration comes from. I think, we can talk about individuals all day long. And I think we'd be doing ourselves an injustice, because I don't think you can really properly judge individual players when they're part of a collective that is so fundamentally flawed, that just doesn't work. Arsene Wenger's been struggling to find a cohesive way of playing with the players that he has. He hasn't been able to do it really for 2 seasons, if not more. There were signs that he was getting it right in the early part of this season. We went 19 games unbeaten. We had Alexis playing up front. It gave us something different. People were even encouraged by someone like Theo Walcott, because his skills seem to work well with Alexis, seem to work with Iwobi, seem to work with Mesut Ozil. You remember we took Chelsea apart 3-0 in September. We absolutely destroyed them on the day, and I think there was genuine optimism on that day. But for whatever reason, he decided that wasn't something he could continue with. So having seen something that worked, he took it apart again. I think it's little wonder that as a team we look terrible and individuals look worse than they are. So that's why I'm a bit cautious in that regard. But in terms of a power shift, look, 1 year out of 21 doesn't signify a power shift. They've got to win something. They've got to win things. They've got to finish above us on a consistent basis. They've got Wembley to deal with next season. There's a lot for them to do to say that there has been a power shift. If they somehow end up winning the title this season, which is a terrible thought, but then maybe you can start talking about it, because they'll have done something that we haven't done since 2004, and they haven't done since Holic was a lad. But
1961.
1961. But I think it's a little bit too early. But I don't think we can. It would be wrong for Arsenal fans to just dismiss it as a one-off chance thing that happened for no good reason, or just because it was the law of averages. You've got to look at what they're doing, how they're doing it, how they're playing, and I think be a little bit worried and respond to that. That's what you'd like, is for the club and for the team and for the players to respond to that. So we'll have to see what happens next season.
And Andrew, I'll just stick with you quickly. What is your thoughts on the whole situation? The board, the owner, the manager. Just say, for example, you took over Arsenal Football Club tomorrow. What would you change?
Oh, fucking hell. There's a question.
There's the rest of the hour gone.
Well, look, I think the first thing that I would say is that I think it's a fucking shambles what's going on. I think it's absolutely ludicrous that we're in a situation. We're in May, and we don't know who is going to be the manager next season, or there's no clarity from the club about who's going to be manager from the next season. I think it's clear that Arsenal need a new manager. I also think it's clear that we have a board and an owner who leave a lot to be desired, who you wouldn't have a great deal of faith in appointing a new manager. So if I was in charge tomorrow, it would be my ideal situation is for Arsene Wenger to win the FA Cup and for him to lift that trophy at Wembley in front of the fans. And we can say, thank you, Arsene, for all the good times. We'll brush some of the bad times under the carpet. But look, thanks. You're not getting a new contract. We're going to bring in a new manager and try and put in place structures that the big clubs in Europe have, where you have a sporting director, where you have a board, where the makeup of the people on the board, they understand football, they understand football clubs, they understand recruitment. You overhaul scouting, you overhaul coaching. New manager is going to bring in his own coaches anyway, but it's trying to mold what is a club that really is in many ways stuck with a 1996 mindset, because you don't have these managers anymore. You don't have a guy who does everything the way that Arsene Wenger does everything. And one of the big challenges for the club when Arsene Wenger leaves is to be able to put in place those structures. So it would be about finding and identifying a good young manager, someone who can perhaps do to the team, who can get more out of the team than Arsene Wenger is getting out of it, who can mold them into more than the sum of their parts, but also to put in place the structures that will help support that manager. And not only that manager, because if that manager doesn't work, you're going to have to find a new manager or a new coach. It's about making sure that the staff at the club are able to maintain a level of stability or create a level of stability that allows you to deal with modern coaches. Because even if you bring in a guy who's successful, he might only want to stay 3 seasons or 4 seasons. That's the thing. He could win things and then say, look, I'm going to go and do something else. And all of a sudden you're like, well, what? Why? We're used to a guy staying for 21 years. You've got to be able to cope with managers coming and going. New modern coaches aren't going to want to stay for 10, 15 years. I don't think that's the case. They're going to want to move around. They're going to want to experience new things. And for me, it would be imperative to put in place those structures which would help a new manager flourish and any new manager that comes after them.
I think a lot of our fans look at the situation with Man United and Alex Ferguson and see their fall from grace. Can you see anything similar in our situation? Or do you think that at this time we have an overall better squad than them to be able to cope with another manager coming in?
I think the club, I think Manchester United as a club was probably in better shape to deal with the departure of Ferguson than we are to deal with the departure of Arsene Wenger. And that's quite scary because you look at what happened to Manchester United after Ferguson left, the decline that happened simply because he left, B, because they appointed the wrong manager with David Moyes. They then appointed Louis van Gaal, a very experienced manager. They spent a lot of money. It didn't really make a huge amount of difference to their league position. They brought in Mourinho, who, again, has a track record of genuine success, particularly in his first couple of years at a club. He is a guy who can bring you success, but he spent £150 million and has not really improved their league position. So I think anyone who looks at Manchester United as some kind of a mirror for what might happen at Arsenal should be terrified about what's going to happen when Arsene Wenger goes. I'm not saying that it isn't it's a decision that shouldn't be made or that we don't need a new manager. I think we do, but let's not pretend it's going to be a cure-all, that a new guy isn't going to come in and make everything better. But I think we have to start looking to the future of the football club. And I don't really have a great deal of faith in the owner or the chief executive or any of the people on the board to make the best decisions for the football club, because I think we're lacking a lot of qualities at that level that are really important when you make a transition from a legacy manager like Arsene Wenger into this new generation of head coach.
I completely agree. Danny, I know you've probably got some questions for Andrew, and I'll open it up for everybody. David and Gav, I'm sure you've got questions as well. Fire away.
This is one from James. This tickled me. He said, as Arsenal podcast makers, given recent history, are you ever tempted to just upload an old episode and see if the listeners can tell? Because it's the same old shit for the entire time we've been doing it. And we've only been, this is pod 193, and you've been doing it for at least, best part of 10 years, is it?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I'm proud of is that I generally find new ways to say the same thing. So, no, I don't think I get away with it.
I think someone retweeted one that was Jeff was on from 2013 and earlier, and then Jeff was laughing about it. And I thought, you could just go and listen to that, and it's the same old stuff. Any episode that Gav has been on, he's been 33 now, same as FK. Any of those, it's the same. You could cut and paste those in any order, and they would still have the same relevance, that things are a nightmare. Right, this one is from Where is the Kiwi? Says, what is the next step in the development of Alex Iwobi? Would a decent loan spell be the way to help him out? Now, our one of our lot, Steve, Lord Hillwood, gets so annoyed that by about 55, 60 minutes, Iwobi is running and breathing through his arse, and he is absolutely knackered. That a young man who's, I think he's only about 21, 22, is that knackered after that length of time. And I suppose it shows a little bit of good man management. The Wenger has dropped him from the first team, and then we all thought, yeah, Lucas is going to get a game. No, didn't happen, did it? Andrew, what's your thoughts on Iwobi and his future?
Look, I think he's a really exciting talent. I do wonder if the way he's been managed this season has been particularly a little bit, I'm not sure it's been very helpful towards him, because he struggled, but he feels like it's easy for him to be sacrificed because he's young, because he's just made the breakthrough, because he's come through the academy. It's easy for Arsene Wenger to sacrifice him as opposed to some of the other underperformers. I don't understand what he was doing involved with the under-23s. And I think he's got qualities that this team could use at this difficult period of time. So I like him. I think he's a young guy. I think we have to accept that if every other Arsenal player, you look at that squad this season and tell me who has really played to their potential. How many players? Very few of them. Maybe Alexis, and even Alexis in producing what he's produced would still drive you mad with some of the stuff that he does. So I go back to the point about criticizing individuals when the collective is so bad. And I feel a little bit sorry for Iwobi, because you get getting a bit of hard time from some fans, which I think is unmerited. It's undeserved. And I do think he's a player whose treatment has been a little bit unfair this season by the manager.
Yes, you were saying in your show that Sanchez gave away the ball 20 times in the last match. I doubt very much if you'd have played Iwobi on the left-hand side, he'd have given the ball away 20 times, even if you'd have had to lay down after an hour. I doubt he'd have done that. Right, David.
And what do other people think about? I'd be just curious what Gav and Dave think about Iwobi, because, 6 months ago, people were really excited by what he was doing, and now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I still am, to be fair. I think he's a cracking player. Steve's right about him only lasting 60, 65 minutes in games. But what I think his problem became this season was the fact that they moved him from that left flank and used him as a replacement for Mesut Ozil when Ozil wasn't around. And he kind of took to the position and looked half a decent player. But of course, the moment Ozil comes back, then there's no place for him in the side unless you put him over to the left-hand side again, which is where mysteriously Alexis went to again in order to facilitate whatever it was that Arsenal was trying to achieve in the second half of the season. But no, I think Iwobi's got a cracking future, and I wouldn't loan him out. I think he'll be important next season.
He's played the 7th most number of games this season, 36 games, 4 goals, 7 assists. But minutes-wise, he's only played 2,100. But Gav, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, firstly, if Wenger was really planning on starting the season and spending the whole season with Alexis up front, he should have bought someone for the left side of the pitch. That's the first thing. Second thing with Iwobi is he's a young player. He's going to lose form. He's going to have a dip here and there. He's got to be pulled in and pulled out. Do you know what I mean? And it just seemed really that Wenger just sort of run him into the ground. He just played him and played him and played him, and his form went worse and worse and worse. And now he just sort of really just dropped him and hung him out to dry. So I feel a bit sorry for the kid, to be fair, because he's definitely got a bit of talent.
Gimli, what do you think about him? 18 times this season he's been taken off, and 9 times he's been brought on.
I agree. I think with a lot of our players, it comes down to confidence, and with a little bit of a dip in form came also a dip in confidence. I agree with Gav that you've got to figure out the right way of using players. And like I said, with the players having dips in confidence, he's got to be able to take them out of the team, put them back in the team. I think, as all you boys have said, he is a fantastic talent. Some of the touches that he's had this season have been fantastic, and I really think he's a bright one for the future. I wouldn't loan him out because I think he can get the game time at Arsenal.
Lovely. Right, this I had to read this one 3 times before it made sense, and then it made a lot of sense. From Carl James O'Reilly. This will go for you first, Andrew. He says, has a player, longevity-wise, ever been such a disappointment at Arsenal as Theo Walcott? His jump out of the tackle at Sunderland last season was the end. My point being, can we be ruthless and just bin the mentally weak players?
Yeah, I would like to see that, to be honest. I've never really been Theo's biggest fan because he wrecks my head. He's so confusing. You look at him and you go, what are you doing? Why can't you trap a football? You've just scored a brilliant goal. What the fuck is going on with this guy, I thought last season, I think he was lucky to survive last season, to be perfectly honest. His form was bad. He was out of the team. He wasn't really called upon. The jumping out of the tackle at Sunderland, it was like end of days stuff. And then this season he's come and he scored 17 or 18 goals this season. And yet at the same time, do you feel confident when he's in the side? Do you feel like he really contributes enough to the way that we play? So for me, he's a guy who I would easily, or not easily, but relatively happily dispense with, because I feel like he sums up quite a lot of maybe the last 6 or 8 years of Arsenal, that these moments, these flashes of talent and brilliance and stuff that will get you up off your seat, but like interspersed with stuff that makes you just want to put your head through a window. So for me, yeah, I would be happy to see him move on because in doing that, we would have to get somebody else in. And at this point, I'm pretty much willing to give anybody a try in place of almost anybody else.
It's fun. Oh, I was gonna say he's got 19 goals this season. Gimli,
19. Jesus.
I was just going to say, that's the thing with Theo Walcott. You know, he's the kind of player that if he stayed at Arsenal, it's just going to be more of the same. But if he goes to Liverpool, you can guarantee he's going to look like Messi within a fortnight. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. You just know it's going to happen.
I know it doesn't help.
He's got 19 goals though.
Where?
And,
it must be a misprint.
So he's our second highest goal scorer this year. And when Wenger decides to change it up to 3 at the back or whatever, our second highest goal scorer is the one that gets dropped.
Where does he fit into a team that plays 3 at the back other than as the main striker? You know, I don't think he can be one of the wide players. No. It's only main striker, and he says he doesn't want to play there anymore.
Then David, wasn't it against Leicester where he played up front on his own?
I can't remember if it was Leicester or not, but I do remember that kind of 19-game run that we went on coincided with him and his best ever spell in an Arsenal shirt, because I remember coming on here and saying something like, if he has an injury-free season and he maintains this attitude and this level of performance, finally he's come of age. But since then, sadly, it's all dropped away again a little bit, and he's very fragile of confidence, isn't he?
I'm trying to find the game where he played up front on his own, and I can't find it. It wouldn't have been Man City in the
FA
Cup semi-final.
Ostensibly starting up front against Leicester, but it was I don't think he played from the right against Leicester, if I remember, and Alexis was the one who was more up front.
They switched very early.
There you go. That's what I was looking at. That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, it shows here Sanchez up front, but I think they all moved around a little bit. Anyone else got anything to say on the enigma that is Theo Walcott before I move on? I'll take that as a no.
Move on.
Right, one from Mark Blondal. He says, is it actually the fans' responsibility to support the team, and then in quotes, when they play? And then he's put, and thus, or own fault for bad atmosphere at home games. So I think the gist of that is, should we support the team the whole time, no matter whether we play well? And as we haven't been, and creating a bad atmosphere, is that causing the players to not play well? God, Andrew, what do you think?
I'm always really, I find it very difficult for when people say, look, it's the fans' fault. I mean, I get what the point is. You know, if there's a raucous atmosphere, if there's non-stop support for 90 minutes, maybe it would make a difference, but you're completely and utterly negating human nature, because there are people who are profoundly positive when they're watching a game of football, and there are people who are just, they only see the negative side of things, right? There are people who want to shout and scream. There are people who want to just sit and watch. And you also have to take the context. You have to take in the context of what is the context of this particular game? What is the context of this month? What is the context of this season? What is the context of the last number of seasons? So I think the difference there, for me anyway, is that what Mark is talking about in the question, they're cheerleaders. They're not fans, they're not supporters, they're cheerleaders, people who just cheer for 90 minutes, etc., etc. And, you know, it is a double-edged sword in a way, but Arsene Wenger has always talked about how it's down to the team to provide the fans with the kind of football that gets them behind them. You know, in some cases it's happened. It's even happened this season, you know, where Arsenal have played poorly and the fans have been absolutely right behind them. I can't remember the game. There was a home game not so long ago where we were going through a difficult time, and the actual support from the stands, from the fans, was superb, because they were aware that they had to try and play a part. But I think in general, it's down to the team. You can't expect fans to take any of the blame. It's wrong to apportion blame to fans when the team underperforms, for me anyway.
David, you go week in, week out, didn't you, to most of the home games? Does it make a difference to you, in your point of view, if the crowd get on the players' back straight away, or whether? I mean, in all the games I've been to, I've never shouted or booed. And I once told Bergkamp to sort his fucking life out, and then he went on and had a brilliant career. But that was when he was dilly-dallying for a new contract.
All down to you, Dan. All down to you.
Well, that's
all down to you.
Yeah. That's what he says in his book.
if I'm being totally honest in answer to that, then I'd not been at a game where from the kickoff the crowd have been on people's back. As Andrew said, they're usually right behind them until the point at which it becomes apparent that we're having another one of those days. And then, yes, I'm sure the atmosphere has an effect, but as Andrew says, it's the performance that generates the atmosphere, not the other way round. So it has the capacity to make things worse, but it's self-inflicted by the side in the first place.
Did you have any wise words on this, Gav or Gimli? Anyone beginning with G?
My wise words would be about the social cleansing of the type of fans that would make noise to back their team in the first place.
What does that mean?
Well, the crowd that you're getting that goes football these days is nowhere near as loud as the crowd that would have been going 25, 30 years back.
Sure, but is that not?
I mean, I've been at Highbury, when there's under 30,000 people there. And they make more noise than the 60,000 do at the Emirates.
Sure. Is that not sort of partly down to A, all-seater stadiums, but B, modern football, that it has fundamentally changed from the time that you were going or Holic was going, when you could pay in, you could stand on terraces. It has completely changed, whether we like it or not.
No, true. It's yes or no. I mean, again, you've got to look at the average age of a supporter. I mean, I know for myself, 14, 15, 16, I would be singing non-stop for 90 minutes. Yeah. When I go now, as a 44-year-old, giving my age away, yeah, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't want to be standing. I wouldn't want to be jumping about. But the thing is the 14, 15, 16-year-old, kids these days, they're not going. And if they are going, they're sitting next to their parents. Now, I'll tell you, the one thing as a 14 and 15-year-old that I would not want to do would be to sit next to my mum when I'm singing and swearing my head off. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I mean by the social cleansing. You're never going to get in a football stadium at the moment, which is all seater, which you have to pay in advance with a credit card. You're not going to get 20, 15-year-olds who would just want to go and stand together, jump about and sing for 90 minutes. So you're not going to get that sort of backing of the team anymore due to how modern football is.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I think that's going to be an issue down the line. Maybe not now, and not necessarily just for Arsenal, but for all football clubs, is that it's so expensive now. And the disposable income that teenagers have is certainly greater than it used to be, but then so is the price of a ticket, and if you don't get those next generations of fans in, which is why I always thought, when they did the 10 quid Carling Cup tickets, that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
really great idea, I mean,
so you see on the like the League Cup nights, you do get, and you do see groups of teenagers going to the game together. They've all, one of their parents has shelled out for the money and they've all chipped in or whatever. But you do see that at the League Cup games. And, like I say, I've told this story on here before. Before I moved out where I am at the moment, I used to live in Hoxton. And so we used to walk through the estate and get a bus up to the ground. And we used to walk through and there'd be like one of these basketball type five-a-side pitches, yeah? And every game, every other kid had an Arsenal shirt on. And they're all sort of like looking at us and we're walking to the game and they weren't going to the game. Whereas 20, 30 years ago, they'd probably be spitting at us and chucking coins at us and being a nuisance and a pain in the arse while we're getting on the bus with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're the sort of people that you want to get involved. And they are, as you said, they're the next generation. They're the next season ticket holders.
I think you hit on an important point earlier, Gav, because to be fair to the club, they have tried to address the issue for I don't know if it's just Category C games or Category B and C. There's that section at the clock end where they will sell tickets to under 18s or under 21s for a tenner. Mm. But you hit the nail on the head. You've got to have a credit card or something to be able to buy it. And, you know, they got to go capping out the parents.
Yeah.
To do that.
Sorry to butt in, but if you have a look on if you have a look on a game where they've got that section, it's never full.
No.
They've completely marketed it the wrong way. And, you know, what I wanted to do when I was 14, 15, 16, I didn't want to stand down the sides with the junior gunners. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get in the middle. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be with the big boys. Mm-hmm. So they've created this section and they've created these cheaper tickets for the under 18s, and a tenner these days to watch a game of football is bloody brilliant. It costs you more to watch a non-league team, but they've just marketed it wrong. Just let them bloody sit where they like. Do you know what I mean? Don't have this little section at the front that's surrounded by stewards that tell them to sit down and to be quiet and this, that, and the other, and have rules and regulations. It's just not how you're going to create a decent atmosphere. Just let them sit where they bloody like. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Fair point.
I suppose also you have to take... Oh, go on, Andrew.
No, I was just going to say that I think, you know, that when the Arsenal Supporters Trust did the survey about safe standing, and it was, I think, 96% of Arsenal fans are in favour of safe standing at Arsenal and at other football grounds. And I think that is really an important issue for football, not just Arsenal, for football in the coming years, because it does allow... Look, it probably won't. I think we're all old enough and cynical enough to know that just because you can sell cheaper tickets, they probably won't. But in terms of grouping people together and creating an atmosphere, there is nothing like standing. And maybe when you get to 45 or 50 or 55, whatever, you don't want to do that. But there are generations of people who would just prefer to stand and who can sort of organically create this kind of atmosphere. And I really hope that Arsenal pitch in behind the safe standing thing. I know they've given it their blessing in some ways, but from what I hear, they will say the right thing in public, but behind the scenes they're not necessarily as invested in it as they should be. But I think for the future of the game, for the good of the game and the atmosphere at football grounds, I really hope it's something that we as a football club get behind very seriously.
The club's giving lip service to it.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing they said was until there's a change in the law, it's something that we're not doing. But as a progressive club, the Arsenal was always the progressive club. If you go back in history with floodlights, TV, the whole skadoodle, we was the bloody progressive club. Numbers on the backs of the shirts, there's millions of them. We were the progressive club. With safe standing, this is where if a club like the Arsenal decided, look, they wanted it, and they started pushing the issue, others would listen. But sadly, I think with safe standing, the only way it's going to happen is if Liverpool wants it. Once Liverpool supporters, which they've got a vote coming up soon on, the Spirit of Shankly lot, once they vote for safe standing, and once the Liverpool board get behind them, then things will change. It's all because of Hillsborough, etc., etc. I think the safe standing issue in England is just literally going to be down to Liverpool and how they play things.
That's a very good point. I never thought of it like that. Once you get the okay from them, then it can move forward. And I suppose that's kind of only fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
inevitable too.
Yeah, of course. You know, look what happened. Has left a huge scar on Liverpool Football Club, but also English football. And I think, you know, I don't know what their opinion on it is, to be honest, but there's a very interesting experiment. Well, it's not an experiment. It's happening at Celtic. You know, it's possible to do it. It's safe. That is the whole point of it. It is safe standing. You're not treating fans like animals. You're not putting them into pens where they can't get out. That was the disaster. That was Hillsborough, the way that the football fans were looked at as second-class citizens, that we just put them in here and who gives a fuck what happens to them. But where it wants to go is Obviously, a direction where fans can stand, but where it is also safe. That is the fundamental aspect of it. So hopefully it's something that will gain a bit of momentum over the next couple of years.
Fingers crossed. Okay, right. Next question is for you, little Gimli. You still there?
Yes,
Yeah, you brushing the hairs on your feet.
I am.
Lovely. Back home as always. Lovely. Right, this is from our very own Josh from the ABW radio. He says, would you give Per Mertesacker a player-coach contract for next season? He has all the attributes to be a great coach, and we don't want another Arteta situation. Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, I think I would. I think you look at clubs in Germany like Dortmund and Bayern Munich who have given ex-players coaching roles, and I think it's worked. I think there's no reason why we shouldn't be trying it. We have plenty of great servants to our club who I'm sure would come and add something to the coaching staff. Per Mertesacker, fantastic defender. There's absolutely no reason why he couldn't do a coaching role for us and teach our defenders how to actually fucking defend.
How dare you? I think we have seen that at the beginning of the season, check is rubbish. We're letting in loads of goals, then Ospina, then Martinez, and now we're going, hold on a sec. I don't think it is the actual goalkeepers, because I think that I read a stat that said that Czech against Spurs, he made more saves in that North London derby than any goalkeeper has in, I don't know, a million years. Something along those lines. I might have got it slightly wrong. Andrew, do you think we should keep Mertesacker as a coach, player coach?
Well, look, he's signed an extension, so he's staying as a player. A player coach role, I'm not sure it would happen, to be honest. If Arsene Wenger stays, it certainly won't happen. If a new manager comes in, he's going to bring in his own coaches. But I do take the point. I think, he's an underrated player. He is one of the players who has leadership skills, maybe not quite in the same way that we've seen in the past, from the likes of Tony Adams. I don't think there's a comparison there, but in this squad, which seems to lack leaders, he is a guy who's got some authority. He's got plenty of experience, 100 caps for Germany. He was in a World Cup winning squad. He's hugely respected within the Arsenal squad. He's got that age, that authority that comes with age as well. And I think we've missed him a little bit this season. But yeah, it's a difficult one. I think the three at the back, if we stick with it, might be something that suits him. But again, we're heading into the realms of what's happening next season. And of course, we don't have any clue.
David, Per's only 32. He's not 33 till September. He's now played, I think he's the most number of games for any club he's now played for us with 207 goals. Oh, no, he's 8 behind his time at Werder Bremen. He's been on the bench 5 times this season, and then he's back out of the bench again, and he hasn't played a single game this season. What's your thoughts on him and his future?
I think he still has a role to play next season once he gets a full pre-season in behind him. But, it's going to take too long for him to get match practice back to be of any practical value this season. And as far as the coaching business is concerned, you have the problem that, of course, he hasn't got his badges. So I think he would be restricted to working with the younger players while he acquires the badge. So he's not going to be a part of the solution to the problem that he is a part of, if you follow me.
Yeah, Gav, it's the last time he played for us. He played 51 minutes as we beat the mighty Norwich 1-0 on the 30th of April last year. So it's almost 1 year and 1 week. How do you see his future?
Fuck him off, really.
Sure.
I'll be honest with you. I feel no attachment whatsoever.
You cruel beast.
I know it sounds cruel, but he's the club captain, right? There's a stat somewhere that the last time a club captain played was about 12 years ago, right? And do you know what I mean, the captain has got such a bad role these days that sometimes we don't even have one on the pitch. we get a slap wrist from the FA because we.
You're being a cheeky monkey, aren't you?
I'll be honest with you. I don't look at Per Mertesacker and think he's an Arsenal legend. I want him to stay. I wouldn't give 2 fucks if he never put an Arsenal shirt on again. Because we don't see him anyway. And when he's on the pitch, he's too slow. And I don't think his decision making on the pitch has been that brilliant anyway. So what's he going to teach anybody?
Fuck all, apparently.
Like I say, I know it's bad to talk down about current players, even though he's not really playing, is he? He's just sort of picking up a wage, right? But no, just fuck him off.
Fair enough. There you go. He's out the door. There,
It'd be a boring old world if we all thought the same way.
It certainly would. Right, this one, Andrew, is from Pat Rainsford. He says, is the prospect of Wenger staying going to lessen the prospect of decent players signing for us in the summer? There is so much anger coming from the terraces. Ooh, a lot of these questions are along a similar theme.
I think the whole situation is going to make it difficult to sign players. A, we're probably not going to have Champions League football. B, we are not looking the most attractive proposition in the world right now. C, there was a story during the week where he's talking about Kylian Mbappe, the guy at Monaco. He went to try and sign him last season. You know, you think if Arsene Wenger 5 years ago or 10 years ago went to see a young Monaco forward and said, come to Arsenal, you know, your contract has expired, come to Arsenal, you know, join this amazing club, that there would be no hesitation on the part of the player. And there is now. D for Dick Law. Jesus Christ, I don't even know where to start. But that's a fucking shambles. That's a mess. E, scouting is a mess. So who the fuck knows what kind of players Arsene Wenger is being presented with? And again, just the general air of uncertainty about who is staying, who's going. Is Alexis going to stay? Is Mesut Ozil going to stay? What's going to happen with Oxlade-Chamberlain, Kieran Gibbs, Wojciech Szczesny, Jack Wilshere, all these players who've just got 1 year left on their contracts. The idea that we're just going to ignore that and try and sort it out in the final 12 months of their contracts is just ludicrous. That's not what Arsenal do. When players get to this point, they generally get sold. That's what happens. That's the experience we have. So what was the question again?
Is the end nigh? I think should have been the question.
Well, no, I mean, is what's going on going to have an effect on who we can bring in? Yes. Yes, of course it is. Because even when everything is good, even when all of our ducks are in a row, even when, like last season, when we went, oh, Jesus, look, we bought Granit Xhaka, a midfielder. We've got the deal done before the season has ended, basically. It was May, I think, when we signed Granit Xhaka, and everyone went, holy shit, Arsenal, maybe they've learned a lesson here. And then you go through the rest of the fucking summer. You can't sign Jamie Vardy, thankfully. You know, I'm not really that unhappy about it, but, you know, you couldn't get that deal across the line. You couldn't get a fucking wicked drinking chav from Leicester to sign for you. And in the end, we went and signed two players at the very end of August. You're thinking, fuck, that was when there was like no real impediment to making signings. This summer, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen.
Gimli, can you make any sense of this?
What was the question again? Sorry.
It's is it going to impede on us signing new players next season with the way things are going at Arsenal at the moment, with no one knowing what's going on? We don't even have an academy manager at the moment. It's ridiculous. Although the under 18s are doing fantastic.
It is a shit show, isn't it? Really. I really do think losing Champions League football is going to have a big effect in who we're going to be able to bring in. I mean, Lacazette has already said he won't move to a team that's not in the Champions League. I recall David said this week that he would rather be out of the Europa as well. He would rather not have that. It's a really sad time, isn't it? And I think we kind of just got to ride the wave at the moment and see where it goes. I'm sure that we'll have many grim days ahead, but you know, we've been there before, and I'm sure we'll be there again. We've just got to keep our heads up and see what we can do in the transfer market. But as I've said before, I do think the first thing we should do is go out and look at a fresh manager with new ideas and let him put his own trademark on the club.
Indeed, David. Gimli mentioned there about the FA Cup. I've been on the phone to Sepp Blatter, and he's told me that the FA Cup runners-up do not get a place in the UEFA Cup anymore. Apparently, it cost me 40 grand to find out that. So I hear you that midweek you got a little bit. I don't know the best way to describe it. A little bit annoyed with people on Twitter saying they'd like us to lose the FA Cup final. So what's your thoughts about that question?
I cannot understand that mentality. But if you're asking me specifically about the question, yeah, I agree with everybody else. It's going to be an issue. And even though winning the FA Cup only gets us into the Europa League, that in itself is a kind of an irritation to me, because I don't want us to be playing Thursdays and Sundays next season. Because that's about as inconvenient as it gets. But it's an FA Cup final, for Christ's sake. It's a piece of silverware. It's a day out at Wembley. The last day out I had at Wembley at a cup final, a gentleman not very far from us was a couple of seats away, and we had a whale of a day. Now, I don't think we'll beat Chelsea 4-1, but I think we got a good chance, and I hope we do it. And I can't understand anybody who wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah, you're right. Our FA Cup record is amazing. In 4 seasons, we've lost 1 game. So that's not too shonky, is it? Gav, have you got anything interesting to say about this?
Well, for a start, that 1 game we did lose, fucking
against Watford,
didn't they? Yeah, through it. I mean, we beat them about 2 weeks later. We smashed them a few weeks later. So I'm still pissed off with him over fucking throwing that game by putting the fucking shabby team out. No, I agree with the boys.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shitstorm. Well, it is a shitstorm. It's been a shitstorm for fucking years anyway. So nothing's going to fucking change, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Is the right word ironic if in to use it in term of Wenger took us over in the UEFA Cup, and now he's leaving us in the UEFA Cup? Would that be slightly poetic or ironic, or other words with I's and C's in them?
What are you asking me for?
I don't know, because I don't know the answer myself. I'm blabbering on.
I don't know fancy words, Dan. Do you know what I mean?
Don't you?
No.
Oh. Excellent. Right, I'll move on to the next question then. This is from Jai MC. He says, do we have a complete imbalance between game-winning quality starters and squad players who aren't at the level needed, Andrew?
Yeah.
There you go. Is that all you want to say on it, or you disagree completely?
Yeah, no, I just agree. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious, yeah. I think there are too many players who Goldilocks players. When the porridge is just right, they're grand. You know, they'll do what you need to do, but we need a few bears who'll come in and eat the Goldilocks. I don't know. This is a terrible metaphor, but you know what I mean?
It's better than the one I just made.
It's just, I think we've got too many players who need everything to be lined up perfectly for them to be right. And we don't have enough players who can drag us out of situations where we're not playing well, who can consolidate people. I don't just mean in terms of what they do on the pitch, but in terms of the characters that they are and the way that they can bring people together. We've got too many individuals, I think, and not enough people whose team ethic is strong enough to get us over the humps that we need to get over in certain games.
Okie dokie. Right, we're halfway through our questions, but because Andrew's got a podcast to go off and organise, Gimli, we're going to quickly do the predictions for the next 2 games, and then we're going to say goodbye to Andrew, and then we're going to get back to the questions, aren't we?
Yes, what I think I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to ask Andrew his predictions, and then ask him if he's got a shout out, and then we can do all that shizzle later in our own time, where we'll probably cut each other off.
Lovely.
So, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. Before you leave to do your excellent show, if we could just get some predictions off you for Man United home and Southampton away, if we could have the result and the first scorer, please.
Jesus.
This will be good.
I really want to be confident and I want to be optimistic about what we can do, but I'm finding it very, very hard looking at the way we played, you know. Maybe a 1-1 with Manchester United. No, 2-2. 2-2 with Manchester United. Probably Alexis will score the first goal. Southampton, I'm going to give us a 1-0 at Southampton, and it's going to be Theo Walcott who'll score.
Oh, he'll be into 20 goals. Wow, that's going to be good.
Double figures or something.
Just before you go, is there anyone you'd like to give what Danny calls a gentleman's nod to?
I'm too young and I'm not a chav. I can't do shout outs.
A gentleman's nod. God, I don't know. No.
The birthday boy.
Oh yeah, well, we say happy birthday this week to West Antone at West Antone, so he can have a shout out. He purveys good rum and bourbon in his flasks, so yeah, he can be the boy this week. So happy birthday to West Antone.
Bollocks! I was going to pick him.
You just told me to pick him.
Now you know how it feels with the predictions, David. Hey.
Yeah, got it.
Stealing yours.
Right then, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll try not to leave it 60 shows this time, but we know you're a busy guy.
Sure, no problem. Listen anytime, and thanks for having me, and then enjoy the rest of the show, guys.
It's
Thanks,
been a
Andrew.
pleasure. Thank you.
Take care.
Right then, so Danny, if you wanted to kick us off with some questions again.
Did I just say char? I meant to say cheers and thanks. I come out with char. That's terrible. Look, people. There's not even any editing going on, is there? We're just moving straight from one to the other. I know, it's wonderful. Yes, we have got some more questions. This is a mixture of questions from Ryan Corasi? Coracy. I'm thinking the same Corsi, and the Suffolk Gooner. Now, I've mixed their questions together, so I don't know who's from who. So between them, they say the club, top to bottom, seems broken. And how deep is the rot? And also, but could it be worse? And how long should we expect repairs to take, if at all, under Kroenke? David, you can have that one.
Nah, that's one for Gav, isn't it?
That'll be one word answer, that will.
Off for you, David.
Is it broken totally? No, not broken totally. It's not far off. I think we all agreed in the first half of the season we had our best squad for ages. We don't have someone who seems to be able to get the best out of them over the course of 9 months. We don't have anybody who's been able to do that for a few years now, and there's no good dancing around the problem. But Andrew actually said that it goes deeper than just a manager, because it's it's rotting as a fish would from the head. So there are other things that have to be fixed before the manager goes.
Well, there you go. Yes. I mean, I started this hashtag ages ago, Arsenal KO, and that was Arsenal Kroenke out. And I thought that was really clever. And then I realised someone else had used it years before. So, oh dear. Gav, would you like to sum the answer to this question up in one, maybe 2 words?
Yeah, we're fucked.
There you go.
I think what Andrew said earlier really hit the nail on the head, really. I think he went really in depth on it. And yeah, I mean, wholesale changes is needed from top to bottom. Will it happen under Kroenke? The only way that anybody is ever going to get any sort of reaction out of him is if you hit him in the pocket.
I was reading a thing this week because I'm a bit of a fan of NFL, and there were some people been saying some really shitty stuff about Kroenke, deservedly, on Twitter because of the stuff that he's done with the LA Rams, where I think lots of stuff was promised and not a lot of the stuff was delivered. I don't know too much about it because it didn't go. It was only a few tweets that I was reading, but they weren't happy in the first place, and I think now they're even more unhappy. And I think he's just made it blatantly clear that he's only in it for the money there as well. I mean, he's an American and he should have NFL close to his heart, but I don't think he does. I think it's just all about the monies, as that woman who's now disappeared once said. Gimli, would you like to say anything to that, or shall I move on to the next question?
I think I'd agree with Gav's. We're fucked.
Thank you very much. Definitely. There you go, people. Hashtag we're fucked. Oh, I hate it when people say hashtag. God, what a tit. Right, from Kurt Ice. And it is Kurt Ice. His name's Curtis, and he's the one who him and his missus got married, and they wore Arsenal shirts and had the names on the back of their shirts. And yeah, he got. I bet you
Gav sat there thinking that's everything I hate about modern society.
You wouldn't say it to him because Kurt is a bit of a unit. He'll pull your head off and
I think that's good. Obviously, I'd rather he was in a suit and had a nice pair of clock end cufflinks on.
Where can you get them from, Gav?
They can get them from Shoewar. If you follow me on Twitter at Shoewar, the link to the shop's in my bio. But yeah, it's I find things like that quite entertaining and quite funny and quite quirky. like wearing like tops to wedding, like
I
wedding.
don't think they got married wearing them. It was after.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they walked down the aisle wearing Arsenal. There again, I don't know. People go and ask him. It's at Kurt Ice. You never know. I think he's got the picture on there.
You ask him, you lazy bastard.
Well, I have asked him, and he's told me because I follow him, but I can't remember what he said. There you go. That's quality research here at Abawa, as we like to call it.
Abawa.
Yes, Abawa.
We've been linked with him, haven't we?
That's ABW. Oh no, yeah. I'm just looking at the picture on he's got it on his pinned tweet, and I'm going to go and retweet it because
I've got a question for everyone.
Go on.
How frustrating is it when Arsene Wenger comes out in a press conference when talking about like the player of the moment, and he's talking, "Oh, I went to see him at his house. We were close to signing him." Just a question: does anyone actually care unless we actually signed the player in question, or do we think it's just really in quite bad taste to say this is what you could have had? Because to be honest, it fucks me off.
No, the golden question, right? Apart from why the hell he's coming out of it now, is why couldn't he get the deal done?
Well, that's very true. At the time, he would have been a relative unknown, wouldn't he?
Probably wanted him to play left back.
I mean, why? Like I say, it's all right. You're saying. I mean, you know, you've the Arsenal best 11. Look, Wenger said he tried to sign and never happened. Would be well beaters.
Remember, we don't need Gareth Bale. We got Gail Clichy.
Yeah.
I think that sums it up, Gav.
Oh, don't. Do you know what I mean? And
no crying live on the show, Gav. For fuck's sake. Right, I'm going to move on to the next question. This is getting depressive. Oh god, it's another Wenger one. This is from Finn Arse, Finnarse. I think they might actually be Finnish Arsenal supporters group in Finland. They say when Wenger eventually leaves, do you think the board in brackets plus Kroenke will show the same kind of loyalty to the next manager as they have done for Wenger? Oh, Gimli. Wax lyrical.
It depends if that manager doesn't spend a lot of money, is used as the kind of whipping boy for the club and takes the brunt of all fan negativity. I think if you depend on that, I think those are two of the questions that need to be asked. If it's someone that actually has a backbone and will challenge the board and the people that run the club, then probably not.
Oh, David, you have anything you want to say on this? I agree with Gimli.
Yeah, I think I do as well. Move on.
Well, I mean, it's like a broken clock. He's right twice a day. Well done, Gimli.
No.
Thank you very much. Oh, speaking of...
You're not selling broken clocks now, are you?
I'm not selling broken clocks. No, I'm selling very, very nice clock end clocks, which again are available from the shop.
Shewar.com.
Yeah, and the link's in the bio. Yeah.
Little Gimli?
He's gone.
He's gone.
Oh, the fucking little shit. He's cut himself off again, hasn't he? Bloody hell, people.
He got too excited about being right about something.
He did. He was back combing the hairs on his feet. You there again, Gim?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I was actually saying before I got very rudely cut off. I know someone that sells some nice clocks.
David's already done that. We'll move on. Right, this one is from our very own Carl, who is at that _London_ guy. Actually, Stefan Molyneux, who does a podcast, calls it underbar. What the fuck is that? Fucking idiot. Stop it. It's underscore. Yes. Carl says, if we had any other manager in the world and they had the same results as Wenger, do you think they would have been sacked by now? And if we fail to win the FA Cup, does Wenger's position become untenable? Gav, what do you reckon?
We're all doomed. It's untenable anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope we win the FA Cup. Really, really hope we win the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? It's the greatest competition in the world. And
for me, I agree with you. It is. I'd be much happier winning that.
And yeah, so like I say, but yeah, no, win or lose the FA Cup, he's got to go. If this was a new manager in his first season...
No, that wasn't it. No, if Wenger would have had this run of results as a manager of another club, would he have been sacked? Yeah.
He would not have lasted the time he's lasted at any other club in the world.
Hold on, no, you were right. No, I've read it wrong. He said if there was any other manager in the world had the same results... Oh, yeah, that would be any other manager at any other club in the world. Would they have been sacked by now?
Well, okay, yeah.
I've changed the question 3 times.
I mean, can you imagine being at bloody Real Madrid and you don't win a league title for, 13 years? Yeah, do you think that's going to happen? Do you think it'd happen at PSG?
No.
Do you think it'd happen at
No,
Munich?
they'd probably win the title at PSG and then still get the sack.
Yeah, do you think it'd happen at Barcelona?
No, they'd probably win the FA Cup. I mean, the Spanish Cup and the European Cup and the UEFA Cup, and they'd still get fired. They usually do.
Chelsea sacked the manager that won them the fucking Champions League.
So did Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester.
They won the Premier
Their
League.
one league title ever sacked the manager.
I don't think that there would have been any other manager in the world that would have gone between the Invincible season and the first of the 2 FA Cup wins and still had a job.
Was it 12 seasons?
And that's at not just fucking first division, second division, third division.
Would it have happened in your game of FIFA, Gimli? Because we all know FIFA isn't real life, but would it have happened there? Could you have gone 10 seasons with winning nothing?
Well, it wouldn't have happened because on FIFA and Football Manager, I am actually a managerial god.
Are you?
Yeah, in fact, I'm almost semi-erect just thinking about my performance as Arsenal manager. I'm in 2037, and I haven't lost a Premier League season thus yet. I'm that good that even Gav would be speaking my praises as a fan.
Have you seen on YouTube, there is someone who has simmed Football Manager 2017 to the year 3017, and in that season, Man United have just been relegated out of the conference.
Are they really?
Lovely jubbly.
Yeah.
Good going.
David, do you want to bring us back to some kind of sense with your answer to this? Is he, if he doesn't win it, is it untenable? And as for the first part of the question, make it up however you want, because I did.
Yeah, no, his position is, for a lot of supporters, is untenable whether he wins or loses. There are those among us who would love to see him win it and have announced that he's going so that we can give him the due send-off that he deserves for what he's done. I have said before, I'll say again, I don't think any other manager would have done the job he did until 2013. That was when the money suddenly became available in quantity, if you like. He deserved the chance to do with that money what he had not been able to do in the years that preceded it. But the evidence is now in. We've had 4 years. He's spent an absolute shitload, and we've gone backwards this year. So that's my view of it.
He actually gets worse the more money he spends.
It's like Gimli at the pub.
I haven't been into a pub for over 4 years.
Because you're not allowed.
No, I get pissed at home.
You do. Lovely.
Yes.
Okay, right. Actually, this is a positive question there, so I'm going to save that one for last. Peter Kennelly, our mate in Australia, says, do you think Wenger wants to stay to genuinely rebuild and prove he still has it, or purely just to prove others wrong? Gav?
I think he wants to stay because he's got nothing else.
Because there's nothing on telly.
No, he's just too comfortable, and he's been too comfortable. He hasn't had the threat of getting sacked like he would have done at a well-run club, and that's why he's just in this comfortable zone, and he likes this comfortable zone. And excuse me, he's got no real boss. He's got no one really sort of to answer to, and
he picked his boss though. Gav.
Yeah, well, he's not really his boss. He's a CEO in name only. He doesn't really actually do a CEO's job. Do you know what I mean? He's just there to talk to the FA and to do a bit of a squiggle on a fax every now and then. Do you know what I mean?
Wenger earns 25.3 pence per second.
But tell me a job where you get £8 million a year and there's fuck all pressure.
There's no exactly
hosting this.
Well, I don't get 8 million a year for this. I don't get fucking 8 pence a year for doing this.
And you deserve it.
I've even fucking when we started this, there'd be the odd freebie biscuits or whatnot. Nothing Biscuits. You'd be tempted with half a packet of rich tea and half a can of apple ties.
You have to save all those for Jeff and his dog. Get down, dog.
I know, and David's come on board, and he's taken half the packet. So
in the YouTube comments, people liked your impersonations of Jeff, David. I thought you were very good.
It was a one-off, and he's not talked. He hasn't spoken to me since.
Yeah,
I love
if
the
people
fella.
are wondering where Jeff is, he's been busy, and hopefully he'll be back in the next week. Actually, yeah, because we've got a Twitter verified person who's a comedian who Gimli is in talks with at the moment to be on next week. So Jeff will be on.
So
And,
just to clarify, he definitely hasn't left.
No, he hasn't. And Raj was meant to be here, but he's there was on the M25 a lorry full of fit rolls that overturned, and it had gone into the side of a Ferrero Rocher lorry, and so he was last seen on all fours hoovering up the contents of both lorries. Right. Next question. This is one about Cesc Fabregas. Now, I don't know why people are going on about him, because Wenger's had the chance to sign him and we turned it down. And now it looks like he's not wanted at Chelsea because he doesn't start the games. He comes on, scores goals, sets up assists, plays brilliantly, and then the next game still doesn't start. So I think he's on his way out. So we have a few questions here. So I'll start off with you, David. So if you listen carefully. Gooner Man Slim firstly says, would you take Cesc back? So, David, would you?
No.
Oh, Gav?
Yes.
Gimli?
No, he's a snake.
The listeners at home and on the tractors? Oh, interesting. Personally, I might think, fuck it, we might as well. And then AB Gooner, who we've known for years, says, with Ozil's high wage demands and mixed performances, would you sell him and bring back Cesc? Also, stops him from going to Liverpool or Man United. So I suppose from that one, David, do you think he would go to Liverpool or Man United, or do you think he'd go to, I'd heard Italy? Maybe
he said he wouldn't go to Chelsea, so I don't think Liverpool or Manchester United is a problem for him.
I know Gav doesn't care, and Gimli wasn't listening, so I'll move on to the next bit. From SOHUM, Sohum, maybe? What's the probability of us signing back Cesc Fabregas in the next 2 to 3 years? David?
I think there is a possibility of it happening, but I'll hate it.
Gav?
I think there's a possibility under a different manager.
Oh, maybe he'll come as manager.
Ooh, good one.
Little Gimli?
I think there's a definite possibility, but I 100% wouldn't have him back. Once a snake, always a snake, and I can never forget him going to the Grand Prix when we needed him.
Dirty little shit. And finally, the final part of his question was also predictions for club captain in 2019-20. Not next season, the season after.
20.
No, it's 3 seasons time, isn't it? I'm just going to say holding.
How long is Mertesecker's contract?
Probably better, and he still won't have played the game by then.
Yeah.
Fuck it, just give it to Arteta.
Yeah. Whoever doesn't play that season will be captain.
I think
so
that's
probably about... Theo. It'll probably be Theo.
Of course,
David, you've got an answer?
It'll be Lauren Koscielny.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he'd be
mid-30s and out the side.
Looking at going to PSG once we've made him into a great coach. Right, next question is this is an interesting one from Mr. Arsenal 93, whose name I do know, I just can't remember it. He always asks us brilliant questions. Start with you, Gimli. When the Emirates deal ends, what should be the name of our stadium? I like that.
Oh, what should be the name of our stadium?
As in sponsor, or do you want to rename it, or?
I don't know. It's never going to be Highbury, is it? So, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's 3 I don't know.
You can't...
Have you any idea?
That's imaginative.
What?
The She-War Shop Arena.
Oh, there you go. Everyone gets a free cufflink with their season ticket.
Gav wins the show.
Yeah. All I've got to do is sell 10 million cufflinks between now and then, and I'm going to put in a bid.
Lovely.
Have you mentioned their clocks?
I've mentioned
Thierry Henry signed ones.
Yeah, and I'm very, very excited about them. Very, very excited.
Well, you got Thierry Henry signed ones.
Thierry Henry is signing up to 10 of my clocks.
Bloody hell. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be good.
He's a turncoat.
The signing's going to be filmed and pictures with the clocks, and very exciting.
He's got Valentine on us.
He's not a cheap man.
No.
It's all done. It's all done via a company called All Star Signings, who are.
Oh, we've heard of those.
Yeah, they do professional signings with players and ex-players. They do a lot of
box. They did one with Bergkamp recently.
That's correct. Yes,
they were a good flow.
The Bergkamp signed shirts that I assisted them with. Yes, and they've got lots of really, like I say, I'm not been involved in the shirts and stuff with the Henri signing, but there is an Henri signed item that I'm going to be able to have a little bit of exclusivity with. And after that, it's going to be some Ian Wright stuff. So
now that I would have. If you give me a Thierry Henry one, I would get I'd get the Tipex out and paint over it. But Ian Wright one, I'd worship it.
Yeah, no, these it's not just Henry, it's with another player, and I've seen them, and they're very nice. But like I say, it's early days. It's little thing that I'm doing with this firm, and they get access. They obviously pay for access for ex-players and do signing sessions and all that. Very, very professional. Have a certificate of authenticity, which is the longest word I can pronounce.
COA.
Exactly, apart from anti-disestablishmentarianism, of course. But
you got that wrong. Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Oh, shut up!
That's a different word.
Yeah, that's next door.
But yeah, no, it's early days with them. They do a lot with the Man United Supporters Trust.
We don't need to talk about them.
No, but like I say, they're a very, very legitimate firm. Nice fellas to do stuff with. Very accommodating. Blah blah blah. And
this isn't She-War QVC, is it?
Well, don't fucking ask if you don't want to fucking know. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, right. I forgot what the question was now. We'll move on.
No.
Right, we'll move on to the next question. This is from Stefan Selby, who keeps giving us money. Twice he's given us money for headsets, thinking we can't afford them. And we've got nearly £100 left over. We still need to give away all the stuff that people gave us to give away for the donations for last summer. They're in the Ottomans in my sitting room. And yeah, we'll sort those out.
Sort it out.
I know. And he runs our ABW FIFA team. So if you were at the Tall Blonde, might have a number 1 at the end. Go and see him if you want to be a part of the Xbox FIFA team for our one. He runs all of that lot. And they just did some screen some videos the other night, and we have retweeted them all. Anyway, Stefan says, "Why are you all Arsenal fans? What is the point of being a football fan?" I don't even think that needs an answer.
I like my embarrassment with an air of disappointment.
I actually don't like football.
I hate football. Football's broken. It can get fucked. Football for me died in 2004. That's when it died. At the end of 2004.
Do you know how bad it is? I went to one of the shops in town that is owned by a Tottenham fan, and he came up to me today and he put his arm around me. I have never
He did it.
Pardon?
Did he kneel down before he did it?
No, if you're saying that I'm that small, then Chris is shorter than what I am. So how short must you think Chris is?
Very. My mum's 4'10" and she towers over him. Right. So no, we don't know why we're supporting Arsenal. How many more questions should we do again? We have been recording now for nearly an hour and a half.
Yes, we've got about 6 minutes until we've reached the hour and a half.
Right, so I should do 2 more questions. We've only got 3 questions left anyway.
Do them all. Do them all.
Okay. Right, Ulrich 14. Is finishing outside the top 4 a blessing in disguise, a new European competition next year, and a reality check for the players and the club? Gav?
The only advantage of finishing out of the top 4 and going into the Europa would be for those who love their European travels, because it'll be new grounds, new countries maybe, etc., etc.
Last time we were in the UEFA Cup, some of these countries didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. And but obviously the downside, what David alluded to earlier, would be the fact that it's bad enough at the moment that we don't get any Saturday 3 o'clock games. We probably won't see a Saturday for a whole season. And it's just going to be a financial nightmare for the away supporters that do the domestic games as well, because you're talking about Sunday night games that are going to be away where there's no trains coming home. You're talking about then having Mondays off work. There's also obviously going to be Sunday and Monday games as well, and then you're talking about Monday games, and I mean there's the potential next year for a Monday game, and that's not even on TV, and people that want to go could end up losing 2 days' work over it.
Hold on, I've just got the Samaritans on the line. They want to sponsor this edition of the show. Certainly.
Yeah.
No,
Very,
I mean,
tell you what,
it's
that's very
true.
good points.
It's all bloody sadly true.
yeah. It's just, it's like I say, it's modern football, and it's just bollocks. Nobody wants Sunday and Monday games. It's as simple as that. No match goers want to do it. Sunday games are only good if you're not bloody going.
Well, actually, I will contradict that and say, for me, the games I liked the most were on a Sunday, because that's the only bloody day of the week my mates weren't working, and I could easily get someone to come with me. But as long as it isn't a 12:30 kickoff, 5 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, that used to be perfect for me.
Well, a home game, yeah, but not an away game.
Oh no, never been to away games.
Your
I
problem
did a
was
few.
not enough friends.
That's it. In fact, they're all such arseholes. I had to take an Everton fan to the Champions League final. Bottlers, the fucking lot of them. They should have been playing for us.
I don't think, Danny, anyone should want us to lose or finish outside of top 4 to try and better ourselves. I mean, you've got to think, in the best case scenario for some of our fans, that poor results mean that we get a new manager. However, you've still got to try and build a stronger foundation as possible for that new manager to come in. If the new manager that comes in hasn't got Champions League football, then the calibre of players that he's going to be able to sign is going to be lesser. But Man United have only got through what they've got through because they've got the money to be able to get through it. I think, although we might have the money, I doubt the board would allow us to spend it to be able to.
If you hit the nail on the head, really, I don't think that the calibre of player we're going to get if we're in the Champions League or if we're in the Europa is really going to change. Do you know what I mean? The only problem really is it might actually cost us more in wages for that particular player. But, I mean, you look at the players that Man United have bought, and you look at the wages that they're paying out on. And, I mean, really, you've only got to look at our squad's wages at the moment. It's through the fucking roof anyway. Do you know what I mean?
But when you look at the league table at the moment, we are 6th. The lowest we can finish this season is probably going to be. It's definitely going to be 7th, because West Brom are 16 points behind us. Everton are only 2 behind us, but we have 2 games in hand on most teams. We win those 2 games in hand, and then we can still make the top 4. But I don't think we will. So next season, Gimli, are you free on a Wednesday night?
Yeah, I'm free on a Wednesday night.
Jolly good. So we will incorporate a preview show into our normal podcast, so we will be able to predict what's coming up the next day. Oh, we never thought we'd see the day. Right, moving on to the next question. Oh, David, did you want to say anything on that?
Only in as much as a response to Gim, Antonio Conte didn't do a bad job last summer without spending a lot of money with a club that had fallen to, where did they finish last year? 14th?
Oh, I don't know.
Was it that high? I think with the players we've got, a new manager could come in and do maybe not as well, but better than we're doing at the moment.
But do you think though, David, I think it's fair to say that it looks likely that Mesut Ozil and Sanchez aren't going to be there. At least at the very minimum, one's not going to be there. How do you see us going forward and investing that money under a new manager? Do you think the new manager will get all of the sale value of either Ozil, Sanchez, or the both?
Yes. We've made it available to Arsene for the last few years, haven't we? But there's not going to be a new manager anyway, I don't think.
No.
Good stuff. Last season they finished 10th, and that was they finished 1 point behind Stoke, and you have a goal difference of +6. Wow, how? But then I think Andrew was talking about it on his pod. I mean, I listened to it earlier today, listened to half of it, and they were saying Chelsea, Leicester, and Liverpool have all had magnificent runs in the Premier League when they didn't have European football. So
I was just going to say there, I can guarantee you that if Chelsea had made top 4 last year, Tottenham are winning the league. So
probably, definitely, yeah.
Pray for small mercies, isn't it, really?
Thank you, Jose. And Man United have just gone 1-0 up away at Celta Vigo.
Yay, go on.
So that means they'll take up one more WAFA Cup place if they don't make the Champions League. Right, where were we? We've got a couple more questions to go. I'll finish it on a higher note. Jane Francis, she always interacts with us, sends us in lots of decent questions lately. She says, do you think Arsene holds the club to ransom? Do you also believe that he is not capable of motivating the players anymore? I suppose we better go with you first, Gav, because after you it's all going to be uphill.
Is he holding the club to ransom?
Yeah, and can he motivate the players anymore?
In a way, yes. In a way, the club have been so stupid and naive to give him power and control over more things than he should have actually been given power and control over. In a way, yeah, they're shitting themselves because they don't know who's going to fulfill that void if he left. And what was the second part?
Can he motivate the players anymore?
Fucking hell. I'm surprised he can start his fucking car, mate.
Maybe he's got one of them touch sensitive ones that just starts as soon as you sit on the seat.
Even then he would fuck it up. Honestly, he'd probably sit in the passenger seat and expect it to drive itself. Do you know what I mean? These can't even do a fucking coat up, mate. Do you know what I mean? Oh, fucking drop me out. I'm muting myself before I fucking go nuts.
Gimli, what do you think? And then David would probably cheer us all up a bit with his answer. Not too much pressure.
No leaders, no plan B, no hope.
Someone's in a hurry to get to the end of this show. David.
All right. Holding us to ransom, not exactly. But I don't think he's exactly putting his neck in the noose. I don't think he's going anywhere because he doesn't have anything else in his life. He lives, breathes and drinks Arsenal. He's invested an awful lot of his energy in the club and still believes he has something to contribute. There are fewer and fewer of us who actually believe that. But as far as it stands now, I don't think there's an owner with the will to force him to go. And what's going on with Ivan Gazidis, I haven't got a clue. And you wanted me to cheer you up. Sorry about that.
Well, no, we're going to end it on a high thanks to Leo Branks, who says, can each one of you, this will put Gav out, name one positive from this season, despite all of the poor form and negativity surrounding your club now? I've had to think about this, so I'll go first, so you lot can have a think, and I'll just try and make it sound a little bit longer than it is, so you've got more time to think. I'm going to go the Ox. The Ox has shown that he has come from being a player with promise, who is usually played on the left wing, to playing on the right wing, to playing in central midfield, to playing even in the Ozil hole. We've seen that he has massive amounts of passion, that even when the crowd are shouting abuse at him, he still pulls it out. He's got an eye for goal. He can play with both feet. Someone did tell me what that was called, and yet again I've forgotten what it was. I think John might have told me what it was.
Pedidextrous.
Thank you very much. Oh, talking about
it wasn't really.
No, I don't know. And so, yeah, I'm just really happy. He's a shining light for me at the club. And I hope, because we were told by someone who knows somebody that his mum has said that she wants him to go, that he is not happy being at Arsenal. And there's been rumours that Man City have been after a £35 million bid for him. And also the emergence of Rob Holding and, to a lesser extent, Iwobi. But, yeah, we've got some decent young players coming through. And... yeah, that's my answer. Who else has an answer? Gav, do you have an answer at all?
Yeah, FA Cup final.
Hey, 3 out of 4 years we'll have won it, just like the early noughties. Do you want to embellish that a little bit more? That means talk about it more. I hope. Or it's either that or it's something you put on burgers.
It's a positive, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? How anybody would want Arsenal to not win the FA Cup? Just because obviously it might change the situation with Wenger. Bollocks! It's the FA Cup. I mean, it might. We've been so, fortunate with the FA Cup. I mean, some teams go decades and decades, and some teams haven't even thinking won it.
Some teams lose seven. Some teams lose 7 semi-finals in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So we've really sort of got to sort of, I don't know. It's
embrace
like
it.
I say, you've really got. Yeah, exactly. Embrace is the word I'm looking for. You've really got to enjoy it. It could, if if he signs another deal, it could be our last one for bloody ages. Do you know what I mean? So just got to enjoy it and get out. And if you can't get a ticket, go up Islington, go in one of the pubs up there. Let's make a day of it. Get with your mates, get with your family. Enjoy it. They're the days you enjoy. They're the days as a kid were sort of like your first memories of football. Was the FA Cup final. And if you can't enjoy the FA Cup final, if you're not positive and not looking forward to it, then for fuck's sake, go and follow something else. Do you know what I mean? We've had years and years about moaning that top four isn't a trophy, and top four isn't a fucking trophy. The FA Cup is a fucking trophy.
So get out there and get it won. David,
exactly. Are you
going to be going? And also, what's your positive for this season?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be going, whether I get a ticket or not, because we got a common cup final it's not an institution, but a regular event where some of us take ourselves off to a restaurant in Pinner before the game, which is only about 5 or 6 stops north of Wembley. And we can have a nice, quiet, quality bit of fillet steak, nice bit of red wine, come down, amble down, enjoy the sunshine, because it's always sunny on cup final day, isn't it?
1998 was one of the hottest days of my life. I nearly died. It was so hot.
But if I don't get a ticket, then I'll just watch it in one of the whatever pubs are allocated to us. And it'll still be enjoyable, I'm sure, depending on the result. But I think I quite fancy us. And you were quite right when you were praising Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think he's been a big positive this season. Rob Holding, maybe a little bit early. We haven't seen enough of him, but what we've seen has been very, very good. I've been happy to see a return to form in recent weeks of Nacho Monreal, because I thought before Christmas he was probably on his way out, but he's battled back and shown his quality. And then it's little individual highlights like that day we beat Chelsea. We looked really the business. And of course, winning the semi-final against Manchester City when really nobody gave us a chance beforehand. So, yeah, there have been some rays of sunshine.
That's lovely. Good. It's a good question to end on. And Gimli, finally your answer, and then it's off for the predictions and the gentleman's waves.
My answer is another quick question that was sent in to me an hour ago that I missed.
What do you want for dinner from Kate?
No, it wasn't. It's from someone called Pottymouth Nil, who is at Nilstar1. I know she listens, so hello to her.
She often gets a question read out.
She does. I'm going to ask the question now, which is the fan unrest going to put other managers off coming to us, and does it add to the pressure on them to deliver? So whoever wants that one, and then we'll do predictions and shout outs, and then we can go.
You haven't done
very quickly. I cannot imagine there's a manager out there who is going to turn down the sort of money he's likely to be offered to manage a club the size and
that's been a marriage
with
Wenger, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Can't divorce him, can you?
And thanks for the question, Neil.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll continue on by doing some predictions then. Danny, we'll start with you, and I will remind you it is United at home and Southampton away.
Are you trying to get away with not giving a positive for the season?
A positive for the... I'll give it a positive for the season. Did DT get his kids back yet?
I don't know. My prediction is an absolutely stunning bloody nil, because I'm watching Man United now, and it is all I can do to keep my eyes open. They are shit. Even with Zlatan, they are only average. They are a shit team.
Shut you down there, didn't I, fam?
In it, blood.
And Southampton?
Oh, doing both. I think we're gonna Southampton are on the beach at Southampton, and they're wearing their thongs, and they're shouting lines from Borat at each other, and I think I'm gonna go. I think there's going to be a few slobber knockers this season. I'm going to go. Actually, I've got to be sensible, haven't I? Because Dom's caught me up. Oh, this is a pig. I'm going to go. We're going to beat him 2-1, and the first goal scorer is going to be Sanchez.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I've got to take it seriously because Dom is about 6 points ahead in the bloody league, even with my fiddling.
We've swapped this year. This time you're doing like close to the top of the table, and this year I've not really been very good.
It's you and Drew down the bottom like a couple of dirty hobos.
I know. The dregs. David, if you could give us a prediction: United at home, Southampton away, and try not to take as much time as the fat man.
All right then. 1-0 Manchester United, Alexis, and 2-1 Southampton, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Wonderful. And Gav?
2-0 Man United. Okay.
Well, as in to them or to us?
No, they're not going to. I mean, they're going to.
All
They're going to put out their under 18 team, mate. So
Right.
hopefully we'll get 2 deflected own goals.
So what's your prediction for first scorer? You can pick an own goal if you want.
No, I'm going to pick Ox. I'm going to pick Ox.
Oh,
And
yes.
Southampton is going to be 2-2. I'm going to go for Alexis.
And I'm going to go for 1-0 Man United, Rashford. And I'm going to go 1-1 Southampton, Alexis.
1-1.
1-1. I just
typing that in with my fat fingers. Oh, so that's a 1-0 loss to Man United.
Yes.
Oh, you
Because-
are a
Ooh.
monster.
No, the thing is, you remember a couple
We
of
tried to
seasons
end it on a
back-
high and you bloody ruined
No,
it.
it's not. No, it's not ending it on a high. It's being realist. For some reason, we fucking buckle against Man United.
Against anyone. Do you know we haven't beaten the top 6
regardless
team
of whether
in
it's at
years.
home. If they put out like a fucking reserve team and it gets to half time and it's still 0-0, it's going to be toxic.
I think Rashford has just been sent off, by the way.
Was he really?
Yeah.
What, for
Oh,
diving?
no, he's limping off, or he's been told to get off. Oh no, he's injured. Oh, he's injured. You can't change your prediction now. He's
Oh,
limping
yes,
off.
I can change my
Set
prediction.
in
No, you
stone.
can't change your prediction.
I can
No.
change it if
No,
I
you
so
can't.
wish.
Is he
No,
number
no.
19? Because that's who's coming off. Oh, it's Rashford. He's got his legs have come off. Get on with it.
Such a fucker. Shout outs this week. I'll go back to front. Gav?
No. Hold on. No. I can't think of anybody to hand. To all the lovely 25,000 people who follow me.
Get your clocks, your badge pins, your
underpants.
I've
cufflinks.
got a lovely badge pin coming out tomorrow.
Oh,
Well,
Good man.
that is at She War, everybody.
it's for the so it's kind of in sort of
Homage.
yeah, homage, that's the word, and to the green and blue kit and to an old Arsenal drinking song. So some people,
What, from 84?
yeah, some people will really get what the badge is about, and some people won't have a clue.
Lovely stuff.
So
David?
I think it's lovely.
I'm going to get some people shout at me for this, but I'm going to go for Aaron Lennon, who has shown once again that being a famous name isn't a guarantee that you're going to avoid mental health issues. Good luck to him. I hope he comes through out the other side.
Yeah, I agree. Here. Danny?
We should mention that it was on the 2nd of May. It would have been David Rocastle's 50th birthday, and it was David O'Leary's 59th birthday. So 2 definite modern-day Arsenal legends there. So, but my actual gentleman's nod goes, as usual, pick 3 people that have been cheeky chappies in the YouTube chat and message box. Gaits, is that Gates? Maria Legaye, Legae. So that's one of them. Unique 79 and Nikki Wilson. They're just 3 of the names that if you write something interesting in there, whether we agree or not. But we've just been and found there was 58 messages, comments from YouTube that YouTube had marked as spam. So I've just been going through those and marking them as okay. So we don't know why it's been doing that, people. But yeah, there you go.
And if you've got something to say, then bloody well say it.
Say what you want. Swear away. Just don't
Swear away.
Don't be racist, sexist, or any of that other nonsense.
Please, if there are any Greek people out there, can you make sure you get your comments in? I can't wait to hear him try that.
Thanks.
Constantinopolis.
Hey, Papadopoulos might be listening. He used to play for us.
Does he really?
Go on, Gav, you were going to say something mean. What was it?
No, I wasn't going to be mean. I was going to be. It was also the 25th anniversary of the last game of terracing, the North Bank Terrace at Arsenal, which coincided with Rocastle's last game, which was on his 25th birthday. that was this week, and also this week was the anniversary of the sad parting of John Dickinson, who got murdered by West Ham fans.
Yeah, I remember that.
Back in
So you tweet
1993.
about that.
I was along the road.
Horrible.
Awful day.
Yeah. Do you know, I found out this week, so I always, it's been a sort of tradition on the Facebook page, started by one of the older fellas who used to help me admin it, and he no longer does that on Facebook. But we always put something up on the date that it happened for John Dickinson. Over the years, I've sort of like, a few of his family have sort of said thank you for putting it up and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, one of the John's cousins put up on there this week to try and pass a message on to an Arsenal supporter who every year since on the date goes and puts fresh flowers on the grave.
Ah,
And
excellent.
a fella called Legsy. I tracked down. You know, I'm presuming you know him, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tracked him down for a mutual WhatsApp sort of group that I was on. But yeah, no, every year he goes down on around this time of year and puts fresh flowers on. So it's nice he's remembered. Do you know what I mean? Proper Arsenal.
Oh, I'm glad he's still about.
Yeah.
Right,
Good.
I should do my shout outs and then we shall wrap this up. First shout out goes to at Ross Bain Art, and that is at RossBainArt. You should see his Arsenal canvases. My God, they are fucking good.
And they're only about 250 quid each as well, which is stunning.
I know, they're fantastic. And second of all, my shout out goes to Neil Grace, who is at ngracey 1983. That's at NGRACEY 1983. He's looking forward to this podcast. I've just been chatting to him on private messenger, so a big hello to him. And that's about it then. I guess that not unless there's any blogs or anything, Danny, that's got to be shouted out, or anyone.
No, there's nothing positive to write about at the moment. I think there might be one or two towards the end of the season, but yeah, there's nothing positive to write about. The only blogs on here is the ones that David does.
We really have given up.
Well, there's nothing positive to talk about, is there? But once it comes to the FA Cup final, I'm sure there will be one or two talking about expectations and things like that.
We have gone to every emotion on this one this week, haven't we?
We certainly have.
Well done.
But your blogs are still there, aren't they, David? But everyone knows your blogs.
I haven't done anything since Sunday. I've been not in the mood to write. Let's put it that way.
Can't blame that. I saw you on Twitter the day it was the night of the North London derby. I seriously, David, you sounded awful. You sounded like it might be the end.
Didn't he use a rude word at one point as well?
We're all right now.
I had to avert my gaze from your timeline, David. There was potty words, potty nonsense.
I must have been hacked.
Probably. Gav's gone for a wee. I don't know if he's back yet. I told him to go for it. I said, go on then, go. Not realising you've got to wrap the show up. What do we do, Gim? Do we wait for him to finish it and wash his hands? I bet he doesn't even wash his hands, does he?
No.
Of course he does. He's a gentleman. Old school gentleman, but he's a gentleman. Aren't we all?
Well, I feel we should wait for him. He normally has like little nuggets of wisdom at the end. It's not like if this was Jason, then I would be in a hurry to do it. But because it's Gav, and I know there's going to be none of that bollocks, I don't mind waiting for him.
What Gav's probably done, he's probably gone to the bus stop out the front of his house, and he's gone and weed in someone's pocket, 'cause he seems to sort of do that.
I know it's through his next door neighbour's letterbox.
Oh, and here he is. Gav's back. Did you wash your hands, Gav?
Oh shit.
Right, you can wrap the show up now. Gimli, Gav's back.
Fantastic. So a big thank you to
anybody who needs to wash their hands. I mean, what you doing? Pissing on your hands?
Yes, I do.
Well, I mean, okay. Apart from Danny, does anybody else actually piss on their hands?
I've got piss faps for that.
I will point out they're like mud guards for his wheelchair. This is gone. Why is it always the last 5 minutes that goes downhill so badly? Right. A big thank you to my wonderful guests tonight, David, Gav, and Andrew, who left us earlier. Danny, unfortunately for you, you have to be here.
And we actually, if you look outside of your window, we've got a brass band holding a big cake to celebrate you doing 4 shows in a row. Well done.
Wow, that's amazing.
Get down, dog.
Get down, dog. Is he? So is Jeff is definitely. We can confirm Jeff's back next week.
I should think he will be. You know, Jeff is always very accommodating.
I can confirm that Kate will be back next week as well.
Brilliant.
Oh.
Excellent.
There
Uni
you go.
And then we've just got to find that missing person. Maybe Raj.
No, we've got a special person.
Oh,
We've got to go and sort out things.
Oh yes, right. I'm on that now. So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it Arsenal. Good night. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it Arsenal. Good night.
Hello, cheeky monkeys. David, say something.
How did we get away with like 60 minutes of questions? It was even more than 70 minutes of questions.
I was waiting for David to shout hello.
Yeah. No, I couldn't do that and get down, dog.
Oh, you can't do both.
Nah.
One trick pony, David. That's
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Right, Gim, before you go, I'm going to just go. Do you want to be there when I do the...
Are we sacking Chris now?
yeah, and then you go and get a headache again for 6 months, and then what? We were going to get the host. Nobody.
Davies would do it.
Oh, fucking hello, you bastards! You're all cunts. Fuck off! Oh God, I've gone too northern, then, haven't I?
I'm going to say you don't come from
Gimli's
Bolton,
gone.
do you?
Gimli's gone, and now this gig's mine. All fucking mine.
Kit Kats and cunting. Yes. Do you want to wait here while I do the loan round? I mean the results.
Of course, you've got to do that, haven't you? I'll get away then. Thank you ever so much for tonight, boys. Enjoyed it.
Yes.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers,
Lovely,
Cheers,
mate.
Take care, Gav.
You should sort out
Thanks,
Arsenal
Gav.
for us.
Nighty.
Good night.
Oh, poor David. He was putting there, and he always likes to leave before the extras get recording, just so he doesn't say anything. So far, so good. I don't think I feel I've left anything in that was too libelous.
Dan.
Yes.
Right. Before I start asking you stupid mindless questions.
Have you got your microphone next to your mouth? You haven't, have you?
No, sorry. I'm sitting up now as opposed to laying laying down.
What? Laying what? You're laying down.
I've been laying down the whole podcast.
Was that because all that positivity at the end? You had to take have a lay down.
It's stress. That's what it is, Gav. You can.
Oh.
It's all that all Only Fools and Horses going on about your cufflinks and another wonderful schmutter.
Yeah, no, I don't like really going into it all, and
Didn't seem like it.
it just sort of. Well, the Henri stuff you asked about, and that's quite. I think that's quite interesting.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I love that.
The other stuff was just sort of like just pissing about, really, and
Oh well,
I don't know. But, yeah. Do you know what I did today, Dan?
pissed in someone's pocket.
No.
What'd you do?
I built 7 new clocks. Right?
7.
7 new clocks. Built them all.
Yeah.
I stuck them up on my little frame.
Yeah.
Then realised I didn't have no batteries. So when we went out and done the posting earlier, I bought a load of batteries. And since then, whilst we've been doing this podcast, I'm sitting looking at the clocks. I still haven't put the batteries in. But because they're all at 3 o'clock.
Makes you happy.
Yeah. I think actually just prefer looking at them when they just say 3 o'clock without the batteries in. But
That's a good number. That's what Sean was born on, a 3 o'clock. I was just a bit annoyed she's born on 3 o'clock on a Friday. If she'd have waited one more day, it'd have been born on the 30th, which is a multiple of 10. All my date of birth is 10s, and it'd have been 3 o'clock on a Saturday. How perfect would that have been?
We have puppies due on, get this, cup final day.
More puppies?
More puppies.
You get due dates for dogs.
Yeah. Because
you think you're going to be all moody again when they go?
Do you have to go to the vets and tell the vet when your dog had its last period or something?
No, she's had I can tell you to the day she got fucked. Like not that like.
Oh, what? Because you've still got the film of it.
You're fucking romantic, aren't you?
No,
The day my dog got fucked.
No, so that sounds like I'm northern.
Was that the day before the itching started?
It wasn't me.
Don't talk of bestiality on this bloody show. How dare
It's
you?
not bestiality.
Isn't it?
No, it's not
Was it
bestiality.
just a misunderstanding? And
Well, do you remember?
I fell over and slipped, my lord.
Do you remember that we've got two dogs,
Yes.
Lucy and Theo?
yes,
Right?
I do.
Lucy and Theo.
Don't tell me it's Theo's.
Well, it can't be Theo's because he can't ever get anything on target.
Yeah,
No,
she's
Lucy
got a back door like a painter's radio.
yeah. I think
Jesus.
it's all over her back.
Oh dear. So you're going to be all moody when they go again. Are you going to try and time that so it's pre-season?
Yeah. Well, it will be 8
You're
weeks from the.
You're not enjoying this taking the piss bit about your dogs, are you?
No, not really.
It's always sad when the puppies leave. I was sad when my kittens left.
I am sad when the puppies go, but
Yeah.
well, but basically, to cut a long story short, we had
Okay.
Theo, and then we had Lucy, and then they had a litter of puppies. Of which, do you remember the little white one out of all the black ones?
Dom.
Dom, yes,
Yeah.
we kept Dom, and we got a stud Labrador in, and now she's 2 years old and she's having her first litter of puppies. So happy days.
Lovely. That's nice. Yeah, my mate wanted one. Ren, the one who I told you to support Man City, told him if he said he'd have one.
They are
What breed are they?
Labradors.
Labradoodles.
No, not Labradoodles. They're pointless dogs. Labradors, proper Labradors.
I do like a nice lab.
Full pedigree as well.
Meth lab.
Yeah, well,
My love.
you know, every week in the intro bit on the website and Facebook, I always have this week Gimli and that lot. This one says, Gimli once told me a story about when he met a man called Jimmy and he taught him how to milk a cow blindfolded, and he is joined by. You're not allowed to talk about that day, do you?
What's that?
But you did get a badge out of it.
Well, hold on. I was replying to a message. What are you talking
you're
about?
shit. You never fucking listen. I said, you know, when I put on the website and Facebook the bit where you I write about this week Gimli is joined by.
Yeah.
It says Gimli once told me a story about when he met a man called Jimmy and he taught him how to milk a cow blindfolded.
Yeah, do it.
I have.
Oh.
And then I always at the bottom of the website page, I always have a bit that now I put in the MP3s as well as part. You know, when you look at an MP3, you look at properties, and then it will tell you the where the fuck has the page gone? Oh, there it is, and it will tell you and in the properties, it'll give you comments. It usually says this has been ripped off from so and so. Anyway, so yeah, I've got one, but I've closed all the bloody windows, haven't I?
The highlight of my day was spending £130 on getting the fucking discs and pads doing on my car.
Here you go. This is what it says down the bottom. Fuck Spurs, fuck football, and fuck Spurs once more to be sure. The fucks.
Sure.
Every week at the bottom of the website for the individual pod, I always put that. They always put something different for both bits. Never get any fucking love out of it. None at all. Now, when I do the roundup thing, fuck off. Lee wants to come on, the fucking dirty spud. Do you want to be here or should I do it on my own?
On what?
I'll just do the under 18s and that lot. It only take me about a minute and a half.
I can be here to do. Yeah, no. Why? I might as well be there.
Are you staying here, Gav?
So what you?
He's just doing the predictions and loans with a bit where he goes Ainsley, Maitland, Niles, Conservative.
Yeah, go on. Go on. I might learn something.
Right. So where is it?
So when you do the edit, you're gonna cut this bit out, put it in the middle,
put it right at the beginning,
and then so this bit when we're saying, and Danny's about to do the predictions now. There ain't gonna be any, is there?
No, because I'm doing it now. Then I'll stick it in. But everybody knows.
Cut that and put that back in. It's just gonna be us talking bollocks again.
Yeah, I know, but that's why you try not to ruin it too much.
I've got a plan then.
What's that?
Are
you being devious?
No, I ain't really got a plan, Dan. I wish I had a plan.
So this is going to go. I mean, we'll be finishing after this. Right,
we're gonna have a pause or count you in before you start doing this. That nobody who's actually listening now is going to hear because they've already heard it.
I might leave it on the end as well. Right, tell them go and listen to the extras. That's where it will be.
Yeah, no, go tell them it'll be the extras and we'll make it extra stupid. In fact, because normally on the podcast, I don't pick you up on things that you said wrong. And I'm feeling to be extra anal this week.
Oh, Jesus. Is it your birthday? I'll just get rid of this fucking Man United shit on my telly. Question time soon. That'll be interesting.
Who's on?
Raving Lord Such, hopefully. So we're gonna so dear listener, we have decided to put the roundup of the Lone Watch. No, not the Lone Watch, is it? The what is it?
You know what you're doing?
No, I don't.
It's like fucking talking to Arsene Wenger now. Do you know what I mean? just decide what you're doing and do it. Stick
Do you know what, right?
So one minute it's at the front, next minute it's at the back. Now you want to do it at the front and the back.
Like,
I mean, you're like Gimli's dog with two cocks.
Oh,
Down boy.
4 weeks, literally
Down
4
boy.
weeks I've been
Down
doing
boy.
this.
Down boy.
4 weeks, and I can already see on my return that you just don't give a fuck about the Lone Watch anymore. You've given up. That's what you've done. You've given up. At least have the decency, like me, that when you've had enough, to go, right, I'm out. I'm done. I can't fucking do it. I am out of here. You just turning up, all half-cocked, trying to give out, and you don't even pronounce the names right. At least you used to give it a go when we first started. Not now.
It's not even if it's your own material, mate. You're only fucking reading it off somebody else's website.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just pure.
Seriously, Gav, you know from being here before, he was like he used to go and research every single player. That was back when he cared.
I'm not being paid
care.
8 million a year, so why should I?
You're not being paid anything, but when we started this, you weren't being paid anything.
Dan, why don't you say, here's the youth, reserve, under 23 and Lone Watch. Just go and read it off George Bird's site.
Yeah, exactly.
You usually do. I usually do get it off there
you might as well just say that, as opposed to fucking reading it all out.
Fucking box.
Just say it's really good this week on the Lone Watch. Read about it on this website.
No, I'm just going to put a bit in there that says we've decided to put the under-18s, the under-23s, and the ladies and the injuries bit in the extras at the end, so you have to go and find it there. That's the bit I'm going to use, and you two didn't talk over me. Ha ha! Fuck you! So now the under-23s went to Sunderland and they lost 2-1. We've only got one more game to go.
Everyone now is going to know the only reason that you haven't done it properly is because you can't do it properly.
And just to build on Gav's comments earlier, first it was going to be at the start of the show, then it was going to be at the end of the show, then it was going to be at the start and the end, and now you're just telling people to look somewhere else.
So just going to cut that bit in when you hand to me, and then I'm just going to say it's at the end.
You've declined quicker than Arsenal in the second half of the season.
It's a shambles.
Well, the under-23s, we've only got one game left to go, and we're at home to Man United, and we're fourth. We're going to do nothing. So there you go. That's the under-23s sorted out. The under-18s, on the other hand, though, have been brilliant. They've won 4 games in a row now. 3 of those games, someone scored a hat-trick in them. And we just beat Man United 3-0 because after the season finishes, we go into what do they call it?
Fucking care to tell the people that might actually be listening to this who scored the hat-trick? Any clue?
One of them follows me on Twitter now because I mentioned him.
Marvellous.
Yes.
So everyone that's listening to this, it's not going to be at the start. It's not going to be at the end. Go to our website and listen to last week's podcast to find out who it was that scored the hat-trick.
Well, it's not even at the end. It's kind of in the middle of the end.
It was. At Man City, it was Eddie Nikita got a hat-trick. And then the next game we beat Man City 3. And then we beat Liverpool 4-1. And Charlie Gilmore, who now follows me on Twitter, because I mentioned it, he got 3 hat-trick, 3 goals. No, 3 penalties. There you go. That's the right word. Against Liverpool. And then the next hat-trick came as we beat Blackburn 5-1. Who scored the hat-trick there? Reece Nelson. He's going to be a player. And then we played the other night and we beat Man United 3-0. And Joe Willock got a couple of goals and an assist. Apparently he'll be fucking off soon with his brother, his older brother, who's a lot better. but some decent young players. Anyway, so once the normal season finishes, the top 8 go into where they play each other once.
Round robin.
That's the one. And we've played 5 of them games so far, and we are top. We've won 4 and drawn 1. And there's only 2 more games to go. And if we win those, we're only the fucking under-18 champions, aren't we? That's miraculous. We've got to play away at Chelsea, who are second. That could be a tough one. We draw that. And then we're home to West Ham for the last game of the season. And West Ham are shit. They're down the bottom. We could win the under-18s league. Kwame Ampadu. Don't fuck around. He's getting it done. So we've done those ones. The Arsenal ladies played tonight. Do you know how they get on?
Yeah.
There we go. Just refresh the page. We only fucking drew 4-4. After the first game, we drew 0-0. See who scored the goals. We were actually 3-1 down at one point. And then, who's D. Carter? Danielle? Yeah, it's Danielle Carter scored a couple. Is it Joe Nobbs? Jordan Nobbs, she scored one. We were winning 3-1 down to 4-3 up. And the dirty bin dipper scored in the 84th minute. And Carla Humphreys, who was the year above Charlotte School, didn't play. So 2 games, 2 draws, middle of the table.
See, I'm just curious, Gav, like, as someone that was here at the start, right, and you know how the setup went, and you were with us for a good couple of years before you took a break and you've come back. I mean, do you think the show's declined?
You're making me sad.
To be honest with you, Harry, so the way it's actually done now, there's less people shouting and talking over each other, and I think a lot more people are more experienced in doing them, even though I did do a little bit of talking over earlier, which
that's all right, you're allowed.
But it's people are more patient now because they sort of, and they know they're going to get their chance to say what they want to say on each subject, and so yeah, it's better now, but there's kind of something about just having a free-for-all when it's not really highly planned, if you know what I mean. Even though tonight's weren't, because, nobody had a clue about what the questions were, etc. So you can't really plan your answers, but there's still sort of like a format going on now, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, we really didn't have much of a format. We just say, right, we're going to get on and have a chat, and that's that.
Go on.
I was just going to say to Gav that anyone that's listening to this will be a treat, because Gav, I'd love to have you back, or we'd love to have you back for the end of season show. We always try and do a bit of a free for all where we discuss the season. Not naked.
No.
No, but we have a little bit of a laugh. Are there any dogs
involved?
No, they'll be downstairs in the cage.
Okay.
Get in the cage, boy.
Get in the cage.
Down, boy. Down. Get down, boy.
Got a question from Dan Kilpatrick. Says, who do you think Wenger will nearly sign next?
Oh. I reckon he'll come
hopefully
out.
Himself.
I reckon he'll say that he almost signed Dybala between the Palermo to Juventus move. I reckon that's what he'll come out with next.
Could be anyone.
And someone else says, Remy, who offered me a hug earlier, says, real question, where the fuck is Perez? Oh, I didn't do the injury thing, did I? Last week when I said, Cazorla, he's says due day is any day now. Due back any day now. So hopefully he might be in contention for a game before the end of the season. It now says 2 months.
you know what? That literally his injury was the end of our season. If you look back at it, his injury was.
Yeah, you're right.
Wenger has not had a clue how to pick a midfield since, and he was the link. I think he's so underestimated just how good a player he is.
Technical ability is superb. I think you'd have seen a much better Xhaka this season had you have had a fit Santi.
Oh God, yeah, them two together would have been fucking amazing.
Well, we saw glimpses of it, didn't we, in the first half of the season, and they looked just fantastic. I mean, even fucking Francis Coquelin next to Santi Cazorla looked a decent player.
When's the when are you recording the end of season 1?
It'll probably be the last Thursday of the season after the last game.
When's the FA Cup final? The 25th.
That will be that's
24th.
So basically, your end of season 1 will be, as you're doing at the moment, a few days
29th.
Cup final.
Yeah.
No, after the cup final, 29th.
Okay. Yeah, go on.
So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 weeks' time. Is it 4 weeks' time? It's saying Thursday the 1st. That's fucking June, isn't it?
And we'll try to get.
It's in June. It's not, is it? It's It'll be on the 25th of May. No, when's the FA Cup final?
27th, isn't it?
Oh, so it's going to be on the 1st of June. Our last podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm in.
That's cool. Thank you.
I'm in.
But it's exactly how you want to do it. You can either do the last one of the season and then do an FA Cup special, or you can just do the last of the season being the one with the FA Cup. I mean, it might be fucking miserable if it's talking about the season.
We reminisce on when it was 0-0 at half-time against Chelsea and it ended up 8-0.
I'll be honest with you, the one before the cup final, I may be too busy.
Okay.
Because that will probably be the night before the last day I can do posting.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, it will be. So I'll have to... although I might even be finished by then. Depends. I'll probably... Yeah, probably best off to put me down for the last one of the season as opposed to the FA Cup one. Even though I'd love to do it, but I don't think I'm going to have the time.
Okay, we'll have a think about...
Are we doing the last one live on YouTube?
Yeah. There's no...
might get a bit of blue for dads at the end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, if you remember, the first After Dark was it was either an end of season or something like that.
I think it was after the transfer window. We just went, oh, fuck it, just carry on.
Yeah, I think
we had such hope back then. Little did we know.
No, actually, no, we didn't have no hope. It was exactly the same as it is now. We're all fucking miserable. We're all fucking sick of Arsenal. We're all fucking sick of Arsene Wenger. Same problems, just a different year. I got 99 problems, but the pitch ain't one. Hit me.
Do you remember what years Arsenal ran out to the A-team music? Someone is asking Andy Kelly, and the person says, I'm guessing around 84, 85. I'm not sure if I remember it.
I can't say I remember it. That's before I was fucking born.
Oh, shut up. No, I honestly can't remember what music we run out to when it was terracing. Because a lot of the time I sort of stood where there weren't... You just didn't really hear it. Do you know what I mean? When it was terracing, I don't really remember any tune that they run out to. It was sort of only like the sound system and the speaker system only sort of got better once it was all seater. So I remember coming out to Right Here, Right Now. You still there, you two?
Yeah, no, I'm here.
I'm just flicking through Twitter, seeing what's happening.
But yeah,
it's Cesk's 30th birthday today, apparently. He wasn't a great player for us. He had one good half a season.
Further cements the fact that I wouldn't have him back. The fact that he's too fucking old.
It ain't going to happen under Wenger, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
It's just not going to happen. We had first dibs on him, and he just refused.
Did he actually refuse to come back to us, or was...
No.
Wenger was on strike, wasn't he?
Oh, Wenger refused. Oh, yeah. Do you think...
Oh, yeah, I mean, he the thing is, if you sort of like look back at it, right, we basically nicked him off Barcelona, right? And there was never any shadow of a doubt.
We swapped him for Van Bronckhorst. We let them keep Van Bronckhorst.
Yeah, it was... I mean, there was never any doubt whatsoever that one day Fabregas was going to go and play for Barcelona. It was never a shadow of a doubt. It was always going to happen. And then it happened.
Much like Bellerin, that's bound to happen as well.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? But it, like I say, it was so definite with him. Do you know what I mean? And it was so definite that he wanted to go back there one day, and he got his head turned at the World Cup and all that malarkey, and it was so obvious it was going to happen. Look, I can't see why anyone would have the ump that it did happen. All right, he shouldn't have. He should have been at that Fulham game instead of the Grand Prix, right? But the club knew that because the club fucking holds his passport. Do you know what I mean? All the players, they don't hold their own passports during the season. The
Do
fucking
they?
club, no, of course they don't.
I wouldn't fucking have. Well, most of them have got dodgy passports anyway. Just knock another one up.
Well, exactly. But I'm saying players, because of how stupid football players are, right? They're not allowed to hold their own passports. Do you know what I mean? They have to. No, of course they don't. Because it's just when they're going like on an away trip, on the European away. Imagine, right? Okay, right. Where's your passport? Oh shit! I forgot my passport.
That's happened in the past, hasn't it? And players haven't been able to go to games because they lost their passports because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Because players are so fucking stupid, and the majority of them are fucking fit, right? So, I mean, bloody hell, I mean, what would you trust Gabriel with to start with? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't trust him to order me.
Maybe open the door. Oh,
Well,
actually, no. You'd have to push and pull on it in Portuguese.
Exactly. So, like I say, the clubs hold their passport. So, Fabregas to have gone to watch the Spanish Grand Prix instead of being at that Fulham game would have actually had to ask to get his passport back. So he would have had to have told the club where he was going. So the club knew what he was doing. It was just stupid that he put a bloody tweet up, which is why a lot of them aren't even allowed to run their own social media because they're that fucking stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Certainly do. Right, I'm going to use that for the extras. Say something nice as I press stop recording.
What you're going to stop now?
Where's Gimli gone?
Oh, he fucked off ages ago. When I was saying nice things about Fabregas, he started crying. I think he's gone to service one of his dogs.
Fucking hell. I didn't even realise he was gone. Little shit. Right, I'm stopping recording. Say bye-bye.
Do we have to stop now, Dan?
Oh, no, I'm just going to stop the recording so I can start transferring it across. Takes ages.
Yeah. My mate Davey loves all this bit at the end. He was just saying, he said he listened to it twice with me asking you these inane questions about which year would be what year if the forwards were swapped over.
That was. I think there was 25 minutes of extras then.
Yeah.
Some podcasts aren't even that long. For fuck's sake.
Me asking you bollocks, which reminds me, Dan. Right? If you
I've just been eating peanuts, so I've only had 3, so I'm good to go.
You're good to go, right? Here's another one of the silly questions. Right?
Oh yeah, go on.
If you had the 98 side.
Oh yeah.
Right, versus the 89 side.
All right.
Right, but you had Alan Smith.
Yeah.
Playing for the 98 side.
Oh dear.
Who would you want from the 98 side to play instead of Alan Smith in the 89 side?
Jesus, so that's obviously Ian Wright, isn't it?
So you'd have Ian Wright up front.
Yeah. Well, imagine having a player like Anelka up front in the 89 side. And we had everybody was British. I mean, O'Leary wasn't, but he was born in London, so that does count. Imagine having Anelka. They wouldn't know what to do, would they? A foreigner playing in our leagues? Get out. Unless you're Danish, unless you're Danish with a Scouse accent, that's not allowed.
Yeah, no, fair one. So you reckon Anelka or?
I'd go Ian Wright, just so Ian Wright would win another title with us. What was he doing in '89? I think he would have been at Crystal Palace. No, maybe he was at
North London. No, he weren't playing.
No, maybe not. He might have been doing someone's plastering somewhere.
Might have been.
Yeah, because
So just to sum this up, what's the name of this podcast?
Which podcast? This one.
Yeah.
Oh fuck knows. I think it's an Ian Wright Wonderland.
Yeah. So you'd rather have Ian Wright than Bergkamp.
Yeah. Well, Bergkamp would have been murdered, wouldn't he? And plus, we played a 4-4-2 back then, didn't we? In the '89 season, I don't think a foreign player would have been well suited to playing in the league back then. It was all knee deep in mud. He wouldn't be able to do any of his wonderful skills. Where Ian Wright would have just terrorised everybody. He probably would have got 50 goals that season.
Mm.
Yeah, because he played in the 90. I mean what year was it? Oh, he played the FA Cup final replay against Man United. He came on in the sub in the first final, scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
and then they lost the second final, lost it 1-0 because they put Les Sealy in goal rather than Jim Leighton, didn't they? And I think Lee Martin scored the goal.
What year was that? 90.
Yeah, I think it was 90.
So he might have been playing for Palace that year.
Might have been. Because from the time he signed for Palace to playing for them to leaving them was only about 4 years, 3-4 years.
Well, he must have
He
been
bought him halfway through the season.
Because he signed for us in... When did he sign for us? 91?
Yeah. Yeah, it was November, I think. I think so. I should look on Wiki, but I can't be bothered.
All right, well...
yeah, I'm not eating it today.
Isn't it?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go and speak to my missus.
Yeah. Enjoy the new laptop.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers.
Mm.
It's sitting there sneering at me at the moment.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bastard thing.
All
Right, go on then, piss off.
And you, Dan, it's been my pleasure as always.
Yeah. Cheers, Matchley.
No.
Up your bum.
Bye-bye.
Bye.